Hello and welcome to the Decade Parade. This is episode 15
Mm.
and we are in lockdown.
Yeah,
And Liam.
just as I'm sure most of you guys are. So just to keep things nice and safe, we're just doing this over, basically like we do with our Call of Juarez episode. We're just doing this over Discord again, so quality won't be as great as it. I like to say as it normally is, but yeah, it'll probably sound a bit choppy this time around. But it's nothing we can do about it. We're just trying to keep everyone safe, basically.
Yep,
We're not doing
that's
it
it.
this time because we've messed up the recording of of our first attempt.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Yeah, basically we're just doing as we're told by the government, staying indoors,
Hmm.
working from home, whatever, if we can. That is all the rest of it. But I'm sure everyone's heard enough of all that bollocks.
Yeah, we're not really going to go much into it because, as Tim said, I'm sure that's what most of you all have been hearing about for the last 2-3 weeks. So
Yeah,
we're just going to
exactly.
keep things nice and normal, and we'll hopefully give you a laugh or two in in your
At
worrying
us,
in your
not with
what?
us. At us, not with us.
Yeah, yeah. We hope that you'll be laughing at us, and it'll give you a nice little laugh in your lockdown state. Yeah.
Yep, so this month we decided, because it's God of War 3's 10th anniversary, we were going to be doing, instead of just doing that specific game, we're going to do a God of War special
Mm.
where we look over the entire series really, apart from probably the last one, especially not as much in depth at least anyway. But before we get to all that, we just have a little chit chat. So what have you been up to, Liam?
Uh, what have I been up to? I finally finished that medieval remake game I got on PS4.
Oh, I saw you playing that today. Yeah,
Yeah, it's just because I was looking at all my games and I thought, right, I really need to start completing some of these games. So I thought, what am I
yeah,
closer to finishing? And then I saw that and I thought, right, okay, because it is a short game. Like some of the levels you can finish in about 15 minutes, honestly. Like even like
yeah, yeah.
the later levels, like the harder ones, that you can still finish them quite quick. So I thought, you know what, I'll get that done, and I finished it this morning, in fact. Yeah, it's good. It's I don't know. I feel like I kind of put it on too big of a pedestal when I was younger, because from like the trailers and stuff I saw, and I was like, oh, I really want to play that, and it kind of that feeling of anticipation and just wanting to play it kind of just built up over the years. So when I finally got a chance to play it, I was kind of left a bit disappointed. But again, it's not because it's a bad game; it's because I kind of overhyped it a bit, I think.
Yeah,
But yeah, it
I
was
think that's
enjoy.
probably what
It was what? Sorry.
that's probably what a lot of people do with those older games,
Yeah.
especially when you're a young kid and it's PS1 era. I don't think a lot of them have aged particularly well.
No. But yeah, it's just yeah, the nostalgia. I feel like I let it get a bit out of control, and being the pessimistic adult that I am now, it kind of I was just kind of like, yeah, it was okay by the end.
Yeah,
Nothing special, honestly, but still
no,
enjoyed it. So I didn't feel like disappointed when I deleted it from my PS4 library. Like literally the moment I finished it, I was like, oh, it was alright. Delete. What else have I been doing? Uh, Mainly, I've been playing that through the Neo series, basically. I don't know if it's Neo or Nio, but I think it's Neo because I think that's how they pronounce it in Japanese. But
yeah, I said Neo. Yeah,
yeah. I knew the second one was coming out soon, so I think like right about the beginning of March, I started replaying through the first one again because I bought the first one
yeah,
like not long after it first came out, and I never finished it until very recently. So I've had the game for about 4 years now, and only just completed it recently, and then just been playing through the second one. Got that the day it came out. It's good. It's like they've improved like on a lot of the stuff that people complained about in the first one. So it does feel a lot like the first game, but with just like a few extra things added on. Like it doesn't feel massively different. Like there's like a lot of like the same like animations and stuff like that. And thinking about it, I feel like that's quite going to be a common theme when we're talking about a lot of these God of War games coming up. To be honest.
yeah, probably.
Well, yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's if you don't know what Neo is, it's just picture it's basically a Souls-like game combined with like Ninja Gaiden, basically. Because I'm pretty sure it's the people who made Ninja Gaiden that also made Neo, like Team Ninja.
Yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah.
gonna Google that real quick because I'm actually on a computer for once.
Yeah, no, it's very good.
Yeah, they made the Dead or Alive series. They made the Ninja Gaiden series. Yeah, so that's why it feels pretty much similar to that.
Yeah,
Uh, the only bad thing I can say about the Neo series, like the story's so confusing in like the way that they do it. Like so much stuff happens. It's like, who's this character? Hang on, how come we're doing this again? And so on and so on. Because a lot of the story is hidden behind like it's like broken up into like levels and stuff like that. So and you get like a brief little rundown of like what the why we're in this particular level next. But I feel like it never fully explains stuff well. So it's like you got to go online and stuff to read like, hang on, who's this guy again and stuff. So half of the time I feel like, hang on, why am I doing this again?
yeah,
So it's confusing, it is, but thankfully the gameplay is enough to keep you going. So yeah, I'm enjoying that. That's all I've been doing gameplay wise recently. What have I watched? I've watched so much stuff because I've been in lockdown. Oh Jesus Christ, what have I watched? Oh, I watched that Tiger King on Netflix.
I don't know what that is.
Oh, I've not watched it yet.
No.
Oh, Tim, you need to watch it. It's basically this documentary about a guy called Joe Exotic who lived in, I think, I know it's already good. But if I told you that this Joe Exotic guy was like he like owned like a lot of tigers, he was like a gay, like gun-toting zookeeper with two husbands and who plotted to murder this other woman. And if I, after hearing all that, and I basically tell you that that he's actually not even the craziest person in the documentary. But yeah, it's bonkers. Like, and it all happened in real life as well. And it's like there was so much stuff that they threw into it. Like,
So is it a documentary
yeah,
or
yeah,
is
yeah.
it like
It's a
a
documentary. It started
yeah.
2013, and the events that finally finished in like 2019. But I do highly recommend it because it's just bonkers. It's like it's one of those things that when you watch it, it's like, did this seriously all happen in real life? Do highly recommend it. It's funny as well. Like there's so many people in it who are so like eccentric and stuff. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I'll add it to the list.
But I can't really tell you anything about it because it's better if you experience it yourself, basically.
Right, okay, I'll have a look for that one.
Uh, one sec, sorry. Uh, what else have I watched? I've watched so much stuff I can't think properly of things to talk about. No, I'm just gonna leave it at that because I don't want to just sit here in silence while I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But yeah, but yeah, that's me. That's all I've done recently. Nothing amazing. So Tim, what have you been up to?
uh, sheesh, but I've been playing a lot of Animal Crossing.
Oh yeah, how is that?
Um, um, it's it's Animal Crossing. It's definitely Animal Crossing.
Does it feel?
It,
Have you ever played any of the other ones?
no, I've never played it
All
before.
right, I was just gonna say, does it
And
feel pretty much exactly the same as the others?
yeah, I couldn't tell you. I presume so because it feels extremely basic. So if the other ones basically if this one's got new features that the other one's got, the other ones must be pretty much fucking bare bones.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like I'm playing it and I'm like, I don't want to be playing this, but I feel like I need to.
What do you mean?
I feel because it's like a mobile game where it's like, oh, you check in today for this consecutive bonus on
Ah,
like
right, right.
currency and stuff like that, and you get your things daily things for this and daily things for that and stuff. And obviously, there's things you can catch night and day and different months, and everything's real time. And so the more you actually play it on a daily basis, the more your island and everything progresses.
Hmm.
So I feel like I need to carry on playing it now. I'm like over a week in or whatever it is.
Right.
So I'm like, every day I've played it, every single day, but it's just fucking chopping trees, hitting stones, digging holes,
You like games like that
rinse.
though, don't you? Like your
Uh,
Stardew Valley
yeah,
kind of games.
oh my god, I was just gonna say Stardew Valley is fucking awesome though because it doesn't feel like it's restricting you to like Animal Crossing is. Once you've done whatever you need to do for the day, it feels like right, that's it.
Hmm.
I feel like I kind of want to carry on playing and progress it and expand, but I'm just being held back. But that's obviously part and parcel. It's meant to be played over months and
Months, yeah.
years and whatever, different seasons bring different festive events and
Hmm.
stuff and whatnot. But yeah, that's that. I'm not even going to go
D-
into it. That's my general
have
thoughts of
you?
it. I can't stop playing it, but I
You
don't
don't
want
want
to
to.
be
I don't
playing
want to
it.
play it, but
No,
I want to play it. Have you
yeah.
met any other people on your island yet? Because I've heard a lot of people complaining about that you have to share islands and stuff. Like, I'm not an Animal Crossing fan. I've never really played it. I'm not the biggest fan of games like that. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Um,
this sharing island thing.
not real people or anything like that. Just I keep trying to get Kirsty to play it, but I don't think she's that asked.
Right.
So if she made whatever character and then joined, she'd essentially be on the same. It's the same island. We'd share it. I don't know how that works now though, because obviously I've progressed a lot in terms of upgrading some of the buildings and the shop, like installing a shop and a museum and all this, which is early game, progression. Well, over the first week or so at least.
Hmm.
So then I don't know what happens now for her if she joins. Like, is that whole intro section of like, the week intro to Animal Crossing, is that just completely just cut out for her? It just seems a
Right.
bit weird. Seems a bit weird. I'm gonna try and get. If she doesn't do it, I'm gonna do it to see how it works. To be honest, because it just seemed really backwards that. But yeah, aside from Animal Crossing, I've been playing that new Ori a bit as well. Ori and the Will or with the
Oh
Whisper,
yeah,
Whisper the
yeah.
Will or whatever it is.
Uh,
Um,
I do have the first one, Ori and the Blind Forest, on PC, but I've never
have you never
played it. I
played?
played about
Oh
10 minutes
man,
of it. And I didn't stop because it was a. I think I bought it during a Steam sale once, and it's just
yeah,
one of
yeah,
those
yeah,
things where you see it on cheap and you're like, oh, I've heard good things about it, so I'll buy it, see how it is, and then you end up buying so many games that you never properly,
yeah,
dedicate the time to each one.
yeah. It's absolutely incredible. I adore the first one.
Yeah.
It's for me. I've said many times it's the best Microsoft exclusive Xbox. It's not necessarily anymore, but you know what I mean.
Mm,
Call it Microsoft first party game that they have got by a fucking mile. In my eyes, it's fucking incredible. And the new one is just as good, if not a bit better, I'd say, from
right.
what I've played so far. I've played about, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours or something. I don't know, maybe a bit less. I'm probably over exaggerating.
Mm.
Probably felt like that because I kept getting battered in some points, but because they are hard games as well.
Oh, right.
Like they are challenging, especially later on when you start combining all the different moves and powers and stuff that you get. They do get quite difficult.
Mm,
The new one's a bit better in terms of the bosses as well. They've mixed up like how bosses. I think in the first one, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, but they were all the very same style. You do this and that and whatever. This one, there's different styles. Like you actually have to fight it rather than just escape from it across the scene or something like that.
mm.
But there is mixtures of stuff in there. But yeah, it's absolutely brilliant. Um, Apart from that, played a game called Twin Breaker, which is from.
What the
Do you
hell
know?
is
Do you
that?
know? Colin Moriarty?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's basically made a game. Well, he's not made it, but he's written the story for it.
Mm,
It's under his like name and stuff like that. But he's partnered with this little indie studio, and they've made it. It's basically a brick breaker, but it's like two slider things, pong things, whatever. Each stick controls one or the other. Um, it's all right. It was only £8, and I like Colin, and I just wanted to buy it just for the sake of that, to be honest.
that's fair enough.
I feel like I finished something. Oh yeah, I finished Far Cry 5.
Oh really?
Yeah, I went back and wanted to finish that because I do.
I didn't even know you had it.
Yeah, on PC. Yeah, I went back. I love that game, and I never got around to finishing it. So I
Mm,
thought, fuck it. I can't remember what I was doing. I was off for a few days or something like that, and I just went back and just tanned that. I put it on easy and just did the main story missions and just got through it. And then I got to the end and I was like, fucking hell, I wish I'd never done that because it's awful.
I would say.
Jesus Christ. Oh my God, the end! I absolutely love that game, the story and everything with the cult and like the actual the villain and stuff in it.
Yeah,
I, I really enjoyed it, and then it got to the end, and I was like, "Fucking hell!" And
I heard there was like multiple endings to that game.
yeah, there's two endings, so I
All
was
right.
like, "Well," I went on YouTube straight away and looked at the other one, thinking, "Oh, there must be a better ending than this." Nah, the other one's even fucking worse. I was like, "Oh man, what did they do that for? Why did they do that?" But then there's the New Dawn DLC, which
Oh, that
is kind of like
like takes place after the ending of Far Cry 5 or
yeah.
something.
So then I'm like, well, I feel like I need to do that now to get the actual end to this story that I've put fucking 20, 30 hours into or whatever it is. I'm like, what fuck you, you twats. No, I can't be bothered with that shit.
Uh,
Uh, so yeah, that was my review of Far Cry 5 about 3 years later, something, whatever it is.
it's all right, but the ending shit. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, the game's mint. The gameplay is awesome. I do love a Far Cry game. But yeah, that's that. I can't think of a no. Obviously, Dreams and stuff
Have you
played a little bit of that,
have you
but
seen
not
any
much.
more like interesting user-made stuff yet? I remember that one
Uh,
you showed me the other week.
yeah,
Just
there's
a
some
lot of characters
there's
dancing.
yeah there's some mad shit on there, man. Like stuff that it's just basically a meme generator
I bet
at the
it
minute.
is.
You get the odd gem that comes through. Have you seen that video circling around past couple of days where they're walking like through a forest and then there's like a river and stuff?
I've not seen that.
Oh man, it looks unreal. Like genuinely, it looks. I didn't believe it at first. I thought somebody's put a watermark on like someone's like GoPro footage. That's how good it looked. Honestly, it was
Oh wow.
like it's not even. I can't even fathom how they've done it, but they've done it.
That's
But yeah,
that,
I think that's it
that's the
really.
thing with like user generated stuff. You always get like really, really top tier, questioning whether it's even real stuff, and then you just get
You get
the
it.
bottom of the
The absolute
barrel. Yeah,
yeah
it's just people just using it to make the stupidest, funniest stuff they can make.
yeah. There is some absolute mad things on there, man. Like whoever's made them should like there should be there should be one end where they're like taking people on for jobs because of how good the thing the making is,
Mm.
and then there's the other end where there should be like a psychiatric ward or whatever it is
It should
for
just
whoever's making some of these. Just instantly like send people to their house to take them away because it's just not right.
yeah, it's like a few hours later they just get sent like a questionnaire. Like, can you just answer some of these questions for us, please?
Yeah, that's how it should be. Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
uh,
Right, and I think that's it really. Though I've not watched many films or anything. I've been in one of them moods where I want to start something, but I'm just can't be bothered.
yeah, I've been like that as well for the last few days. Like, I feel like starting something new, but I can't really. One, I can't find anything, and two, it feels a bit daunting when I think I do find something, then I see it's something like 8 seasons long, and it's like, I don't want to
Yeah,
put the time in.
yeah,
Even though now I've got nothing but time, but
I know. Yeah, are you off work now?
yeah, until further notice now.
Are you getting paid or?
I'm getting that 80% thing.
All right, it's not too bad
I
then.
can live with that.
Yeah, I suppose putting your feet up,
Mm,
80%, I'll take that.
yeah, exactly.
I'm still working from home, which is a nightmare, but
I
got a
thought it would have been.
two-year-old.
I thought it would have been. I was about to say I thought it would have been better, but obviously we still got your daughter and stuff running
Oh
about.
no,
Then
we keep saying to me and Chris keep looking at each other and thinking, well, we keep saying, can you imagine if we was in this isolation without a kid? Oh my, it'd be amazing. Just being able to do what you want, watch what you want in absolute peace, and oh no, it's a nightmare, man. It's a nightmare because
uh,
she's getting bored, and yeah, but I'm not gonna go into all that on here. Yeah,
for
it's
another
just
time, folks.
yeah,
Uh,
right. I think that's it though.
something I just remembered. Like
Oh
two,
yeah,
3 days ago, I had a nightmare, and it was about uh you know about Resident Evil 3, don't you? Like the main nemesis villain in that,
kind of yeah, like very
or
vaguely.
at least what he looks like and stuff. or like
Yeah.
the idea behind it. It's like just indestructible zombie monster that chases you and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a nightmare about that one the other day, that I was getting chased around and stuff by it. Like I didn't have any weapons and stuff to fight it off and stuff like that. But for some reason, he was dead attracted to like wind chimes and stuff like that. So I kept using that to like distract him for some strange reason. But yeah, then I remember waking up and thinking, oh shit, that was scary. So what do? I downloaded the freaking Resident Evil 3 remake demo on my PS4 because I really wanted to play it after that.
Yeah, that'll do it.
So yeah, normally when people have a nightmare about things, they try and like avoid whatever they dreamt about as much as possible. But not me. I freaking charge headlong into it instead. But you know what?
Yeah.
I actually enjoyed the game because I never played the demo when it came out, and I really enjoyed it. And I played the demo the first time on the PS4, and I thought, I wonder how it would look on my PC. So I tried it on my PC. Bearing in mind my PC is like 6 years old, and yeah, just like when I tried playing Resident Evil 2 remake on my PC, it does run really, really well. So I think I'm gonna get get it on PC when it comes out.
Yeah.
It comes out this Friday as well, so that should.
Does it?
Yeah. I was surprised as well. I was like, when does it actually come out? This, and it said 4th of April. So I was like, no, 3rd of April, sorry. And I was like, oh Jesus Christ, that's quite soon.
I didn't realise it was that quick.
So yeah, just get it digitally, PC wise, on
Yeah.
Just that'll keep me going for a while.
Yeah, I'm sure. Not for me.
Yeah,
Nope.
you know, like, but I thought you played the Resident Evil 2 remake, didn't you?
I played a little bit of it. It was on game sharing, so I just tried it out,
Yeah.
and I enjoyed it. But then I just stopped. To be honest, I don't really.
You
know
got
why.
scared. You can admit it.
I didn't. To be honest, I didn't really get to any bits that were scary, so I can't even say that.
That's fair
I
enough.
literally just stopped. But no, I did enjoy it. Well, I don't know. I think it's playing it for the first time.
Yeah.
Never having played them before.
Mm.
Obviously, it's very retro style of game. I've kind of like lost my what's the word? Like you used to know just the way to play games,
Yeah, I know
and
what you mean.
they're not like that anymore. So trying to play something like that for the first time, I was like, I don't really know what the fuck I'm supposed to be doing here.
If you ever sounded like an old man before, now would be
I
the
know,
time.
I know. It's
So we
scary.
don't make games like they used to anymore.
Yeah, just give me a point and click.
You've been
That's simple.
spoiled.
It's literally
You've been spoiled
like
by
the
all these like quality of life changes that have been made to video games in modern
It is,
times.
yeah. That's it. Yeah, fucking depressing.
So I missed the games where it took literally 5 minutes just to sort out your inventory.
I know. Just give me a sort button. Anyway, shall we move on?
Yeah. So have we got? Have I got up a list of what games came out this month?
I've got the list here.
Hang
So
on.
I'll just
You start and I'll just get it up.
Okay. Right. Well, see, I've actually got the actual list. Normally, I cut this down.
Do
So
you want to explain to the people what this list is first?
it's the list of the games that come out 10 years ago in the month of March.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, these are basically the games that we had the option of playing, but we chose to choose God of War instead.
Yes.
Yes.
So, first on the list, well, the first proper one. Like I say, I normally narrow it down to the main worthy yeah.
Yeah, the big
worthy
ones.
to talk about. The first one, Battlefield Bad Company 2.
Oh, that was a game and a half. That
was an absolute beaut.
Like for me, that is the ultimate Battlefield game. That Bad Company 2.
Yeah.
So it had everything. It had a great single player, like seriously interesting, funny characters and everything, which is, not a thing that Battlefield isn't mostly known for.
I think it's arguably one of the best war
definitely
first-person shooters story.
Like it had
single player.
It had the full destructible environments and everything, which let people be like really creative in like how they approach like online and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's like for me that trumps like every kind of like Call of Duty kind of shooty kind of game and stuff like that.
That was peak for me. I enjoyed Battlefield 3 a lot, but the Bad Company series was
peak. It was funny. Like I said, the characters in the story were hilarious. Like they were just this group of like ragtag soldiers who were like thrown together called the Bad Company because I think there was like one who kept like blowing shit up too much, like when he shouldn't have been doing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was funny. Like it was a good story. But yeah, I'm just sad that they've not made a Bad Company 3 yet.
I know. I think there was rumours not that long ago about them bringing it back, but we'll see.
But now they're like
That was about a
everybody
couple of years
wants
ago.
the olden day battlefields again and stuff like that.
The thing is, if they did do Bad Company 3, they'd, well, it's EA in it. They'd rip it to bear with fucking loot boxes and
Yeah, microtransactions and shit like that. Good old
yep,
EA.
yay. Right, next up, again, March 2nd, Lips Party Classics. No, I'm all in second piss. Uh,
I'd say that's all you, that one, because I don't know what the fuck that is.
I didn't even know. It's basically just the karaoke Xbox exclusive. I just saw it and I thought I have to fucking say that just to see what.
What a name, Lips.
I know.
It's like,
I
hey
know.
guys, you want to play Lips?
Actually, next on the list is Yakuza 3,
Yes.
which was March the 9th.
How did you miss Final Fantasy 13 before that?
Oh, because it's fun. They all merge together.
They do. No,
Every single month there's a Final Fantasy game, and I'm sick of looking at them.
all I will say about Final Fantasy 13 is that it was definitely the most disappointing Final Fantasy game ever. That's all I'm
There you
saying.
go.
That's all you need
That's
to
why I
know.
didn't mention it. All right, move on.
Yeah, Yakuza 3. I remember there was a big what's the word? Like trying to get it out, like outside, because it was only initially released for Japan at first, wasn't it? Because nobody cared. Well, Sega thought nobody cared about the Yakuza series outside of Japan. But I remember there was a
Yeah,
big like hoo-ha about trying to get them to publish it outside of, to the rest of the world.
yeah.
That's all I seem to remember about that game for some reason. And then they finally did it, and then I think it didn't get much good sales anyway. So
I mean,
Sega was like, "What the fuck do you people want from us?"
it sells well now, to be
Oh
fair.
yeah,
So
yeah. Yakuza's become
it's
much more popular now.
it's caught up, I suppose.
Yeah, I think
I tried Zero. I think it was on PC not that long back, and
I have Zero
I
as
think
well, and I think that's the only Yakuza game I've actually put a bit of time into.
yeah, it didn't click with me. I only played about 20 minutes, and I was just like, push, nah, not my thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like a. How would you describe it? 'Cause I want to say it's like a GTA kind of game, but it's not really, is it? In a way.
It's like a clunkier version of Sleeping Dogs.
Yeah, I'll take that.
That's what I'd say.
It's kind of like the combat and everything's kind of like it's very. Oh, like there was a game. What was it called? It's not Streets of Rage. It's kind of like. You know what I mean? Them kind of games like Double Dragon, Streets of Rage, kind of, but not 2D, but kind of like imagine them kind of games, but in like a 3D kind of way.
Yeah.
That's what the combat feels like to me, anyway. It
Yeah.
feels like the bouncer. That's what I was gonna say. The Square Enix made a game years ago called the Bouncer on PS2. That's what the combat feels like. That game.
That game that no one knows.
That game that probably no one fucking knows about but me. That I played that game, the Bouncer on PS2. It actually tells you how many times you completed it. I think I must have completed it about 37 times.
Jesus Christ.
Because
Why?
every time you finish the game, you always unlock new shit, and the story
All
actually
right.
kind of changed a bit with every time you completed it. But I think that only counted up to like the seventh time you completed it. After that, I was just playing it because I had nothing else to play because I couldn't buy games by myself back then. Now I buy so many games that I don't know which ones to play.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Fair
the
enough.
worst thing in the world was the biggest mistake in the world that anyone could have made was giving me money to buy games because I just don't stop.
Right. Next on the list, which one shall we go for? Take your pick.
Street Fight. Oh no, that's an iOS
No,
app.
that's an iOS
Yeah, I just
one.
saw that.
Pokemon.
What, Heart Gold and Soul Silver?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's Pokemon. What more can you say? It's
Yeah. Well, that released in North America. I think it came out in 2009 in Japan.
oh, did it?
Yeah, but this was the North America release and, well, rest of the world basically.
Yeah, it's basically just like Heart Gold and Soul Silver. It's basically just like an enhanced remake of the original Pokemon Gold and Silvers, aren't they?
Yeah.
With just like features from like the newer kind of games thrown in as well. Just a remake,
Newer.
basically. That's I don't want to say about that.
uh, Next, March 16th. There's a lot of games in
Mm.
March here, I suppose.
Metro 2033.
Ooh, I was going to go Command and Conquer 4, but yeah, that's
Oh
fine.
no, I mean, if you want to talk about Command and Conquer 4, this will be just you because I've never played a Command and Conquer
I,
game.
I've only played the old ones like Red Alert and
Hmm.
the original Tiberian Sun or whatever it was called. Um, so yeah, I don't know much about that, but there you go. It come out on that day. But yeah, go on. Metro 2033. You know more about that as well.
Yeah, it's picture Fallout, but a lot more compressed into like a proper like story, like based kind of game. So there's not
Yeah,
much of an open world because they didn't really add open world like element to it until we did what's the new one called Exodus.
yeah,
Yeah, so Metro 2033 was a much more like level based, like like broken up by like a loading screen kind of story.
yeah.
Yeah, it's basically it was based on the Metro books, Metro 2033, and it all takes place in like a world that's been demolished by nuclear weapons, very Fallout style, but instead of living on the surface, because due to all like the radiation stuff, everyone lives in the underground train systems.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's all just like broke up into like so there's like different like clans and stuff like that, and it's just like I can't remember why you get sent out. I think you get sent out to find something. I can't remember what it is now, but you basically go out and crazy shit happens and this isn't that. But yeah, it's good. Each level's built in a way that it lets you either approach it like stealthily or you can just go freaking balls to the wall. Guns are blazing, and it's good
Which is the
because
obvious route.
it's what sorry.
Which is the obvious route.
Which is the quickest obvious route, and it has like a unique like currency slash combat system in a way that in Metro 2033 like bullets are like their source of income basically, like how they buy things.
Yeah,
But you can also use so just to shoot things you've got like the absolute like basic run of the mill bullets, but like proper bullets that you can either use for currency or you can use them as like your normal shooting, but these special bullets use like do more damage and stuff like that. So you can do like
yeah,
this weird balance of like you can kill enemies faster, but you're basically shooting your money basically. So you might not have enough money to get resupply when you get to like the next station and stuff like that. So
yeah,
it was a
yeah.
nice little balance of like do I want to be stronger or do I want to just save me money basically. But yeah, it was like there was some generally like great like terrifying moments in that game. Like the one bit I remember the most is when you get to this library and there's like a unique kind of monster in the libraries in their world called obviously called librarians, but they're fucking terrifying. That's the only bit I remember because they're kind of like
Hmm.
because each monster in the Metro series it's like kind of like a mutated version of like a normal animal. It's like the most
Yeah.
common ones you meet in like the underground is like rats and like evolved moles and stuff like that. But I think this librarian is kind of like I'm pretty sure it was like a monkey or something like that. And it might not sound terrifying, but when you can see him, it's like, oh Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I've only played a bit of the Exodus,
Mm.
Metro Exodus.
Oh yeah, because you got it on Stadia, didn't you?
Yeah, I got on Stadia there. I did play a bit of it on PC as well, to be honest, when it first came out,
Mm.
and then I stopped after a bit. And it felt a bit clunky, a bit heavy to me,
Yeah,
a bit sluggish. I know it's meant to feel like that, but I'm not really great with first-person shooters at the best of times.
yeah.
So when I'm playing with a controller, obviously I was on PC, but I play with a controller anyway. Um, I prefer a keyboard and mouse if I'm playing first-person shooters, especially like I say if it feels really heavy like that as well.
Mm.
I do struggle with it. But yeah, saying that, I've played a bit of Division going back, the Division 2 because they were all on offer everywhere.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I played a bit of that. I bought it
How
on
is it?
PC
I've
and
heard
and then I bought.
I've heard it's better than the first one.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's decent to be honest. I've not played loads of it, but I played it. Played a bit of it. I bought it on PC and then I bought it again on Stadia just because it was so cheap and it's cross-play, so I can just play it anywhere.
God, I remember how hyped we got when we first saw Division shown at E3, and we were like,
Yeah,
"Oh, this looks well good." This and
well, it's the first.
in like typical Ubisoft demonstration fashion, it just didn't turn out as well as
It's
it did.
it's the first game that's been using that multi-screen thing as well on Stadia,
Oh yeah.
which is pretty cool, I must say.
What multi-screen thing?
But basically, whoever you're co-oping with on Stadia, their screen comes up in the bottom corner, so you can actually see where they are.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
And it just streams exactly what they're seeing, basically.
What's your screen?
directly onto your screen, like on the HUD in the bottom corner.
Oh, that's cool.
It's really good. It actually helps a lot, especially
Yeah,
when
it
you're
does,
trying to coordinate and stuff like that. But yeah, anyway, moving on. I've been playing Stadia quite a bit more actually. I forgot to mention that, but anyway, move on.
I'm looking at one in March 23rd, unless you can see something before
No, Just Cause 2.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yes.
Yeah, Just Cause 2, man. Oh, that game was literally freaking.
It was great.
It was just like pure chaos in video game form.
Just Cause 3 was awful.
Oh yeah, Just Cause 3. They've released Just Cause 4, haven't they? I've not really kept up with it after the third one.
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about 4.
I didn't. I heard it was coming out, and that's the last I heard about it. And then next thing I know, it was out and about and on sale for like 50% off. And I was like, "Hang on, did that game get released?"
Just Cause 4. When did it come out? 2018, apparently.
Well, not that long ago at all.
Oh yeah, because they said it had like twisters and shit in it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because it was like, it can, like, they'll randomly spawn and shit. Like, fantastic.
But yeah,
But it's like Just Cause 3. It just never worked on my PC. It did, but it had so many problems, and they never patched it up and stuff like that.
the only reason I bought. Sorry, go on.
No, it's fine.
Well, I say the only reason I bought Just Cause 3 was because they released that co-op mod for it.
Oh yeah.
I remember when that mod came out. I remember seeing Just Cause 3 shoot into like the top of the Steam sale charts. Like as soon as it was released, it was like, mods, baby. It can really help a game.
Yep, I know.
But yeah,
and they said in Just Cause 2, there's not enough room for two, whatever his name is, or two people with grappling.
I can't remember his name now.
And it's like, just fuck off. People are asking for it. Just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. Just let people. Just do a sandbox mode and let people fuck about. I mean,
it obviously worked.
Yeah.
But yeah, Just Cause 2, like some of the stuff you could do with that grappling hook. Like grappling hook enemies to like gas canisters and then shooting the gas canisters and they rocket off. Grappling hook to like a plane, like a jet, and then you can like pull yourself on top of the jet, and it was crazy, like parachuting everywhere, and it was just a grappling hook. If it didn't have that, Just Cause 2 would have been fucking boring.
Yeah, I did have a lot of fun with Just Cause 2.
I never bought it properly. I only ever played the demo. I just remember because they basically free you into like the proper game world, and they basically give you like a 20-minute time restraint to basically go around and do what you want. And I just remember fucking about so much in that game.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I did buy it, but the actual game and the story and stuff was dog shit, to be honest.
Yeah, you didn't really buy it for the story. It was just the craziness.
Yeah, pretty much just blow everything up and clear it out, and very Far Cry-esque.
Yeah.
But like on every drug that you could possibly get.
It was that everything in that game was just cranked up to 10. It was crazy.
I think that's it for March.
Yeah, I can't really see anything that's.
I mean, there is a list of other shit, but it's shit.
There is some other big name games here, but I feel like with Dragon Age, but we've mentioned that before, so I think it might just be like the PC release or something like that.
Yeah, that's the DLC, that, isn't it? Awakening.
Awakening, yeah. Awakening. So it is, yeah. That's the big like expansion pack. Like, oh god, we don't make expansion packs like that anymore.
No.
Yeah, Awakening was like kind of like like GTA 4's DLC, where they had the big story ones. That's kind of what Awakening was as well. Not just some like little shitty extra area they added on, and it was like a proper massive, big like entire country worth of stuff they added on.
Yeah.
But now EA own it, and we don't really do stuff like that anymore. Oh, EA. Yeah, that's the list for this month.
So, moving on to the main event.
Drum roll, please. I don't have a drum roll. Well, that's him.
That was my attempt at drum rolls. So this month we're going to be talking about God of War.
Not just one God of War game, though.
No.
As we mentioned.
The entire
The
series?
entire series bar the 2018 game, but the reason, probably say it now, the reason we didn't include the 2018 version is we kind of feel like the newest one is kind of the start of like its own series in a way.
Yeah, it's like a rebirth in it.
Yeah, it
It's
is.
a,
It's not a reboot. It really is kind of like it's not the start of something completely new, but at the same time it is. It's very hard to describe because it's obviously like a continuation of what happened in the previous games, but there's just so much difference to it, like story wise, setting wise, and gameplay wise, that it feels like it's entirely its own thing.
yeah, absolutely.
Like just a different setting alone is like reason enough for me not to feel like we should include it.
Yeah.
But yeah, apart from the newest God of War, the 2018 version, we're going to be talking about the other 7 main video games. So,
7.
yeah, no, 7. There were 8 altogether, excluding the thingy one.
Right.
Yeah,
Have you,
the way we're going to do this is that we're not going to go massively into... Because if we did, this video would be about 6 hours long. So, we're going to...
it's basically just a general chit chat.
Yeah, it's general chit-chat
But
about each game.
we'll probably miss a lot of them, like proper nuanced story stuff and whatever, but just a general overview of the whole timeline
Yeah.
as a series rather than breaking each one down.
Yeah, the only one we'll really be going into detail about is God of War 3 because that's the one we chose for our game of this month.
Yeah, so that's the one I've actually replayed, so to speak.
Yeah. I think I played every single one apart from 2 of them.
You've replayed them all.
No. I've played.
Oh right, I meant yeah, I've played them. I just meant replayed.
Oh right, okay.
For this month.
Yeah, all I've done is I watched playthroughs of each one, so it's kind of like I played it.
Yeah.
I was just piggybacking off someone else's effort.
Yeah. Right. So shall we just get cracking then from the beginning?
So do you want to just do like an overview of the series as a whole before we jump into the individual game? Or do you just want to start from the first game?
Yeah, just go from the first game, whatever we're starting with.
Fair enough. So, do you want to just do it as each one was released?
If you
That's
want,
how I've got my notes set up anyway.
Yeah, you do that then.
All right. Then. So yeah, first things first. The very, very first game that came out on March 22nd, 2005. The very first God of War. It came out on the PS2. Jesus Christ. We're going back some time now, folks.
PS3. Did you play it?
Oh yeah,
back
yeah.
See, I didn't play any God of War until the remasters come out on the PS3.
Yeah, I remember because you got quite into like God of War 3 when it was announced, and you're like, "Oh, this game looks well good," and then you decided to play the other 2. I think I remember that correctly.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. No, the way I came across God of War is I remember the first game came out, and I never paid any attention to it. I think it was my brother. He mentioned it to me. He said like, "Have you ever seen this game, God of War?" Like, because he had one of them, like proper old school like PS2 magazines.
Yeah.
You know, the ones that you get like every month and stuff.
Yeah.
They probably do still do it now, but I've not really paid attention to anything like that for a long time.
I actually saw an article yesterday. They're closing the official Xbox magazine down.
Oh jeez.
So they do still go. The official PlayStation one's still going, obviously, because it's far superior. No, but it's quite sad because I do buy them every now and then, to be honest. Oh, but yeah, that's nothing to do with God of War.
Yeah. I just remember my brother showed it me in a magazine. I thought, I remember it only showed the beginning bit of God of War. You know, when you fight the Hydra on that ship, if you can recall.
Yep.
It showed that bit, and I thought, oh, it was quite cool that, and I played it, and loved it to bits, and then it was all sealed from there. Then I just fell in love with the series, and it just felt like it just got better and better with every single game that was released.
Yeah.
Now, especially God of War 2. Like, I think out of all of them, like God of War 2 is my favourite.
I want to. No, definitely not mine. But it's probably the one that I don't remember much from, to be honest.
Which is?
I remember.
Oh right, sorry. 2. Yeah, sorry.
I remember a lot of God of War 1, 3, and obviously the new one. But I don't
Not
remember
two.
much from two. No, I can't picture anything. Obviously, if you showed me and said, "Oh, this one was from," I think it's because I just played them pretty much all 1 to 3 back to back.
Yeah.
So they all the first three kind of like all merge. Well, apart from the third one because there was like a big graphical
Oh
jump
yeah,
and
because
everything like
there was
that.
so much bigger stuff in that game compared to the other two.
Yeah, but I think 1 and 2 merge quite closely for me.
Mm. That makes sense,
But
yeah,
yeah,
because God of War 1 and 2 are kind of pretty much the same game, really. It's just
yeah,
2's
yeah.
had more stuff in it. But yeah, uh, carrying on, sorry, little tidbits about the first game. It was directed by the man himself. I don't know if I had to pronounce his last name. Is it David Jaff or Jaffe?
Jaff, I said Jaffa.
Do you say Jaffe? Is it Jaffe or
Yeah,
is it actually Jaff? Just Jaff?
I say
Because if
Jaffa.
I say
I
Jaffe,
think it's Jaffa.
if I say Jaffe, I feel like I'm trying to say Jaffa cakes.
Oh,
I'm just
fuck's
gonna say
sake.
Jaff just to try and get the image of.
I think it's Jeff, like Chafe, but with a J.
J. I'm just gonna say Jaff. So I apologise, David, if you listen to this.
I'm pretty sure it's David Jaffe, but go on.
I'll say Jaffe then. Fuck it. Yeah, it was directed by the man himself, David Jaffe. It was the very first game in the series, but it was the third game story-wise in terms of like, because there's like a lot of like prequels and stuff in this game. But so
Yeah,
the first God of War was if you were going to play the series in like in terms of like how when the story took place, this would be the third one you'd play. So it
yeah.
gets a bit confusing, like which game took place when in like terms of story. Let's have a look. So yeah, God of War sold more than 4.6 million copies worldwide, making it the 11th best-selling PS2 game of all time.
Mm.
It won a lot of Game of Year awards, so it was very well received. It was like nines, tens, and stuff like that. And David Jaffe even won Game Designer of the Year for this game as well. What else we got here? Yeah, as Tim mentioned before, this game and its sequel, God of War 2, it was all remastered in November 2009 as part of the God of War collection. And then until further on in August 2012, the remastered version was re-released as part of the God of War saga for the PS3. And that pretty much includes, I think it was 5 games. I think it was every game apart from the mobile one and Ascension, I think. Yeah, I don't forget it includes God of War Ascension. It was God of War 1, 2, 3, Chains of Olympus, and that Ghost of Sparta. uh, so yeah, apparently they started working on developing the God of War 2 in 2002 after the success of the company's first. Hang on, what's that? Yeah, so sorry. The God of War game was made by the Santa Monica studio, which was owned by Sony. And after the success of the first game that they made called Kinetica, which was released in 2001, which I had a look at, and it's some kind of futuristic like motorbike racing game. So I think if you think Kinetica, also think kind of like Twisted Metal kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Did Santa Monica do Twisted Metal?
I don't know. I know David Jaffe was the
Yeah, I
guy
know
behind
that's
it all, but I
what.
don't know if it was Santa Monica who made it, who made the
That's
Twisted Metal series.
excuse me. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Oh fucking hell! I've just looked at Twisted Metal and there's like one, two, three,
Yeah, there's a
four,
lot.
five different developers. None of them at Santa Monica. So yeah,
So yeah, and I
can,
think
can,
he did his own little studio
yeah.
because he
Let's
has
ignore
bounced
that.
about quite a bit, David, hasn't he?
Oh, well, yeah, he doesn't do anything now. He's just on Twitch, just Twitch streaming. That's it.
No, does he?
Yeah, I think he doesn't want. I think he just decided to take a break from
Well, fair enough. He has been involved in a lot of stuff.
either that or he's saying that as a cover because nobody wants him.
Does no one
No,
actually want him?
I don't know. He's quite controversial and he says what
Yeah,
he
he does
thinks.
speak his mind a lot, doesn't he?
Yeah, and I think he's been in trouble quite a few times.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, that's a separate story.
Yes, as I was saying, sorry, they began developing God of War in 2002 under the working title of Dark Odyssey, and they unveiled it 2 years later at the Santa Monica Gamers Day in 2004. David Jaffe said that while God of War was his original idea, he was heavily inspired by Capcom's Onimusha game at the time. So he said he basically looked at that and he said he wanted to do this game, but basically in Greek mythology, basically. He was also inspired by the film Clash of the Titans, saying that he basically wanted
Yeah.
to merge all this like high fantasy concept of like the Greek mythology, but kind of like merge it with kind of like a heavy metal theme to it in a way. So he basically said that he
Hmm.
wanted like the kiddie, kind of like Greek mythology stuff that we learnt in school, but he
Yeah.
wanted to include like more adult themes, like sex, violence, and stuff like that, which they definitely did.
Yeah.
The yeah, when it came to the design team to design like the enemies and like the how like the main character Kratos looked and stuff like that, they also use references to movies like Gladiator and stuff like that. The game uses the same engine that the Kinetica game used, but it's actually just called the Kinetica engine. Uh,
Ooh, innovative.
I know. David Jaffe himself said that at E3 they let players obviously play the first God of War game, but apparently a lot of players had issues with the camera system in the game. So I feel like after they did E3, they said that most of the effort went into reworking the camera system, which is how they came up with like how like the
Yeah, where
fixed
it kind
camera
of
kind of thing. You
shifts.
can't really change it, can you?
No, no, no.
So I think that's how they came up with that system instead. So I don't know what it would. It must have been like back in them days. Uh,
Yeah.
what else we got here? I added this because it made me laugh. There was a 2008 game called The Hero of Sparta, which was developed for Nintendo DS, iOS, Android, and PSP. And apparently, it borrowed so much from the God of War franchise that a lot of reviews basically called it a shameless God of War ripoff. I'm not actually looked at what what that game's about, but for people to say that, it must just basically be just God of War basically.
I'm just
But you
looking
find
at
there are a
it
lot
now.
of like iOS games that just look like blatantly, blatant rip-offs of other games basically. But no one ever calls them out on it. Well, they do, but no one ever
Yeah, I
takes
mean,
any like official action on it. Just like
I'm
there's,
actually
there's so
looking
many
at
games
the
that
footage now, and it looks kind of like a mix of, yeah, it looks like a shitty mobile game, but with it's like, yeah, like a Sparta, like fucking Gladiators-esque type
yeah.
thing, but it looks very. What's that game we played a few months back? Um, Fucking hell, what's it got? Legacy of Kain.
Oh right, yeah.
It looks kind of like
Doesn't sound too bad then.
that.
What else we got here? Oh yeah, this is another interesting thing. Apparently, in the PAL and Japanese version of the game, there was a minor controversy over a piece of censorship in the game, in which there was a soldier in the Challenge of Poseidon part of the first game, where
Yeah.
in the American version it was a human soldier, and
Oh,
he kept begging to when Kratos came across him, he kept begging to Kratos to basically release him. But Kratos being Kratos, he basically used whatever means he could to proceed. And in this challenge of Poseidon, you basically had to lower the human soldier into like this like furnace, and he basically burnt alive.
mm,
So that was in the American version, but in the PAL, in the Japanese version, they replaced the human soldier with one of the common like undead soldier
yeah.
kind of enemies. Sorry, but instead of burning alive, you basically crushed him in like a big like a stone block falling kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And there was no like dialogue between them this time. Instead, this time the cutscene itself was changed as well, so that Kratos, after he realized what he had to do, he just basically like smirked or like in like his like typical sadistic kind of way.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a very odd bit of considering that this is a game basically about decapitating people's heads off and ripping guts out and stuff. It makes me wonder why the why they chose to change this thing up in particular. Yeah, it was an odd one.
Hmm.
But yeah, that's it for little tidbits about that game. So we're not really told you about what the first game's about, really, like story wise.
No.
In fact, we're not really told you about what the series revolves around as a whole. It's basically a tale about what you play as one person throughout every single one, called Kratos. He's basically like a Spartan, and the first game's all basically the whole series is about vengeance, isn't it?
Pretty
Yeah,
much, yeah.
just
That's
getting your
what.
revenge, like because Kratos is pretty much like the angriest video game character in the world, basically.
Yeah. So basically, what's happened to him is he's been tricked, essentially, duped into killing his family, his wife and child.
Who tricked him to?
Um, I was going to do it then, but I'm not.
Sorry.
Ares, Ares,
Ares.
Ares. Yeah, Ares did it. He did it. Was something like he teleported his family into. Well, obviously he was a Spartan when so he was pillaging this village basically.
Yeah, it was by that point he was working for Ares, wasn't he?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
basically, yeah, he
And
basically had like his own army at first, like his typical Spartan army, but he met like a lot of barbarians, didn't he? And
yeah,
when he was about to get killed, Kratos basically said he basically offered his soul to Ares basically in exchange for enough power to destroy this army. And that's exactly what he got, and he got like the blades of chaos, burnt into his fucking arms and stuff like that. And
yeah,
but yeah, as you were saying, like he basically carved a path of destruction through all of Greece in like Ares' name until he comes to that little village, doesn't he?
yeah.
And then what happens then to him?
He kills them.
Yeah, he has a wife and child who's basically like the only two people he cares about in the whole world because, as you'll find out when we talk about these games, Kratos is he is a massive bellend, isn't he? He just doesn't give a fuck, does he?
Yeah, I feel like I'm the only person that likes the character
Oh,
Kratos in the first lot of games.
I only started liking him when I played the newest God of War.
Yeah, I know everybody says the same thing, but I love the angry fucking Kratos. I don't. I mean, yeah, he's a dick, but I like that. Like, I don't understand why people
I,
dislike him
I,
as a character because it was all fitting to the story. He wasn't just angry for the sake of being angry.
no, I feel like
Um,
it's because he's a bit too one-dimensional. I think it is. He's a bit too
yeah,
one. He's a bit
I
too
just
one
liked
note.
it, man. I liked it. I just loved just being a fucking raging lunatic, to be honest.
I mean, don't get me wrong. There were loads of times where I loved him for like just the straight up blunt shit that he did, but
Yeah, yeah,
story wise, after a while, it just became like oh fuck's sake, here we go again kind of thing.
yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah,
But yeah, he basically comes to this village and he's massacring it in Ares' name, and then he enters like a church or whatever it is, like a temple, and then in like
he's told by a prophet or something into like something. Someone
the
tells him
oracle,
don't
yeah,
enter this. Yeah, don't enter this basically
yeah,
because
you'll
well
regret
they
it.
don't tell him why.
But yeah, he goes in, starts killing everyone inside, and in his like bloodlust and his rage, he accidentally kills his wife and child, who he thought was still in Sparta, but apparently Ares had shipped off to there basically. So he kills his family, and then the Oracle, as punishment. Oh yeah, then he burns a temple down, which in turn burns his family's body to ash, and then so that everyone knows who he is, and so that he can never forget his deed, like the bad things he's done. The Oracle basically does work some magic to like basically binds his own family's ashes to his skin, making him dead pale, and that's how he gets the name the Ghost of Sparta, which is what most people know him as.
Yes.
And then after that, he obviously wants revenge on Hades, not Hades, sorry, on Ares.
Ares.
And yeah, this game is about like how how the gods finally had enough of like Ares like doing what he wanted because the gods couldn't intervene, could they? Like
No, no, no.
they were forbidden by Zeus from fighting against their own basically. So I think he basically gets sent on a quest to find this thing that can kill a god, which you find out is the what's it called? Oh, what's it called? The box. What's the box called again?
Pandora's box.
Pandora's box. That's it. Yeah. And you basically find out it's on the back of Kronos, the fallen titan, like this Pandora's temple. And then there's not much else story-wise in that. Like the rest of the game is just like you going through this temple until you finally find Pandora's box,
Yeah.
which is basically like 2/3 of the game, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty much going through. I just remember going through the desert where you can't see anything. I remember that really fucking me off the first time.
Yeah. Then you climb
uh,
Kronos.
yeah, and then it's pretty much just puzzle rooms and just hack and slash,
Yeah,
pretty much.
that's it.
Obviously, this is a PS2 game, so it was all very
Oh yeah. Again, there was a lot more
basic.
story in like the future games, but for this it was like 1/3 story and the rest was just, as Tim said, just puzzles and combat.
So what gods do you actually kill in the first one? Is it just
It's just
Ares?
Ares, yeah. That's that's
Yeah,
that,
I
that's
thought so.
that's back when killing a god was actually a big deal.
Because that's basically why he wants to get the Pandora's box, so he can get the power to kill a god, basically, isn't it?
Yeah,
Like, essentially.
he got told that the only thing that can kill a god is this thing that's in Pandora's box. So yeah, he finds Pandora's box, but
And
like
then he
Ares,
opens it, and it says what you need is within.
but no,
And he's like,
Ares
motherfuckers.
kills him first, doesn't he? He throws
Yeah,
that
yeah,
fucking
yeah.
massive tree trunk gun at him and it fucking impales him. Then you end up in Hades. Then you escape, and again they make it out that escaping from Hades is this big fucking deal. But as you play more of the games, you find out that escaping from Hades is like the easiest thing in the world. Yeah, you escape from Hades and you end up back in where the city that Ares is destroying. You open Pandora's box and it makes you like a fucking giant, doesn't it? It's very weird.
Yeah. It's very. It kind of like throws in a curveball of being very video gamey, like such a cliche video game esque. I know the rest of it is quite basic and just hack and slash and stuff, but it's quite well built for what it is.
It is, yeah.
And then that bit seems a bit like, oh, that's a bit odd.
I
But
know.
yeah,
But yeah, you become like the same size as Ares, who's like a fucking skyscraper size at this point. Yeah, you fight him, you kill him, and then you kill. Oh, that's something we didn't mention. Basically, the only reason Kratos said he was doing this for the gods is because he thought the gods would rid him of like his nightmares and stuff like that. Forgive him for his past and stuff like that.
yeah.
So yeah, he kills Ares. Basically, goes back to Athena, the goddess who tasked him with killing Ares. He basically says, "You're like, yeah, I've done what you asked. So get all this shit out of my head, basically." But Athena then goes like, "Well, we as gods do forgive you for your actions." It's like no gods or power can make anyone forget like what you've done and stuff like that. So Kratos basically gives up on life and then decides to jump off a cliff, and he does. But through divine intervention, Athena steps in and basically says to him like, because now that Ares is dead, we basically need like a new god of war. So are you up for it? And Kratos says, yeah, why not? And that is actually what he says. No, he doesn't. And then then Kratos becomes a new god of war, and that's it for the very first God of War.
Well, I've actually found a list here
Of what?
Of deaths per game. So
Oh.
like main deaths. So there's the Hydra King.
Yeah.
Killed by
the massive Hydra.
Yeah.
I think there was only like
Kratos.
3 or 4 bosses in the first game.
Yeah, and it tells you how the cause of death as well. Kratos killed the beast by driving a ship's mast through its main head. There you go. That's like the very opening bit in it.
Yeah, that's literally the first bit.
The Hydras killed by Kratos, head exploded. That's the description. Medusa killed by Kratos, decapitated.
I like they say killed by Kratos. Like, he's going to be the one who killed them all.
Well, we'll get to that. Pandora's Guardian. I don't remember that.
That was that big like Minotaur thing.
Yeah. Killed by
Kratos. What a shock.
Impaled with a ballista. Character killed, Kratos. Killed by Ares.
Oh.
Impaled Kratos with a large broken pillar. There you go. Fought his way out of the underworld afterwards, apparently. Yeah, we've gone through over that. Killed Oracle of Athens, Ares' army. I don't remember that bit.
I think it was the Oracle. Yeah, it was the Oracle who.
Oh,
it was like
yes,
a woman who
yes,
told
yes.
you about Pandora's box, wasn't it?
That's the one. You probably slept with her as well at some point.
No, you
Um,
didn't.
oh, do you know? Oh, you see, that's what. Oh, that's a shame. Ares killed by
Kratos.
Kratos. There you go.
Uh,
Stabbed through the chest with the blades of the gods. There you go. That's all the deaths in God of War 1.
what about his wife and child? Who killed it? Who killed them?
Yeah. That's
Killed
yeah.
by Kratos. What else can I say about the first game?
I think that's it, really, isn't it?
Yeah, this was it. This was the foundation of what the series would become. It was like I say, it won loads of awards and stuff like that, and so it was obviously really, really good. Like I played for it loads of times because it was one of those games where, like, depending on what difficulty you finish it on, you got unlock more stuff.
Yeah.
So I give it like a bit of replay value for it, and it was pretty short as well, which I found is like a common theme with, apart from the newest one, like each God of War is short.
Yeah, into about 8 hours ish, like
Max,
average,
yeah.
something like that, off the top of my head.
Mm.
So the next one, what was the next one on your list? Was it
The second game,
was it
God
just
of
two
War
in
2,
release
yeah.
order?
Yeah. So yeah, God of War 2. This was the big sequel that came out. I think it was like 2.
I'm just saying that because I've got a different list in front of me because my list is timeline order, like.
Oh, so story-wise order.
Yeah.
All right. So your first one would have been thingy then, wouldn't it? Ascension, yeah. No, I was doing it.
So timeline order is God of War Ascension,
Yeah.
God of War Chains of Olympus, which was PSP and PS3 remastered after, and then God of War, then God of War Ghost of Sparta, then God of War Betrayal, which I never even knew existed, then God of War 2, God of War 3, and then the God of War 2018 last year.
You forgot the Ghost of Sparta one.
No, I didn't. I said that.
Oh, did you? Sorry. No, sorry. Oh, I'm looking at. Wah, wah.
So that's the story order. Just getting.
Yeah.
We should have said that right at the beginning. Never mind. God of War 2.
Yeah, God of War 2, the big sequel. It was released in North America on March the 13th, 2007. That's another thing with God of War. Like, a lot of the games were released in March, weren't they?
Yes. Pretty much everyone
bar Betrayal and Ghost of Sparta and Ascension.
I think Ascension, yeah, as well.
I think Ghost of Sparta came out in November, I think. But yeah, apart from them three, like the rest of them all came out in March, which is a bit weird. I don't know why. I don't know if that was deliberate or what. But yeah, released March the 13th, 2007 in Europe and April 27th. No, released in Europe on April 27th, sorry, and May the 3rd, 2007 in Australia. You know what? For reading about all these games and like in God of War and how violent they were, I've not actually seen anything in regards to Australia like banning it or anything like that, which very surprised me.
It's all right when it's a made-up religion.
It's historical facts, people. Yeah, another amazing game. It also won a lot of rewards, and a lot of people considered it the swan song of the PS2 era because I think this game actually came out. I can't remember. It was not long after the PS3 was announced, or not long after the PS3 was actually released that this game came out.
Yeah.
So that's why a lot of people considered it like the last great game of the PS2 era. David Jaffe actually stepped down as director of this game and the creative director and the creative director and lead animator of the first God of War. The man himself, Corey Barlog, took up the director role for God of War 2 this time.
David Jaffe still did work on this one a bit though, didn't he?
He did.
He is still credited.
Yeah, he stayed on as the creative director on this one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking on Wikipedia and he's still credited as director.
Yeah, he was. He was a creative director in God of War 2.
Yeah.
And this was actually the last God of War game that David Jaffe was actually directly involved with. So while people consulted him on like the other games, like just getting his opinion and stuff, he only really was directly involved production wise with the first and second game.
Yeah.
Like the first game, God of War 2 also uses that Kinetica engine as well. Apparently, both David Jaff and Corey Barlog said, I keep saying Balrog, which is a thing from
Oh,
Lord of the Rings.
I used to say that all the time. Every time I used to think of the character of Street Fighter.
Oh yeah,
That's what
Balrog.
I
Yeah.
always think.
No, it's just the L and the R the other way around. So it's
I
Barlog.
know.
I keep saying
I know.
Balrog though. Yeah, they said that apparently the reason that God of War 2 appeared on the PS2 instead of the PS3 was because that they knew there was like millions of people wanting to play the God of War 2, so releasing it on PS2 ensured that all of them could pretty much play it from the get-go because they knew that a lot of people wouldn't have a PS3 by that point.
I think that was probably one of the best decisions for the series as a whole, to be honest.
Yeah, it really was.
I feel like if they'd have released God of War 2 on the PS3 near launch, when the PS3 had a very dodgy launch,
Oh, it really did, didn't
obviously,
it? Yeah.
I think that probably would have been the end of the God of War
It
series.
probably would have been, yeah, because everyone loved the PS2, and then the PS3 came out, and everyone thought it was going to be, bigger and better, but it had such a shaky, dodgy launch, didn't it?
Yeah, it's just that price was awful.
It was. I remember seeing it and like, you're having a fucking laugh. But yeah, it was only like it was something like 2 years or something after it released that they started getting the shit together.
Pretty much, yeah.
It was pretty much just like because like changing management at Sony and stuff like that, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was all kinds of shit going on, but yeah, I think that I didn't know that actually. I didn't know it was a consideration, but yeah, I think that would have killed God of War if they'd have done just launched it straight on PS3 at launch or around launch.
Plus, it gave God of War 3 like more of a chance to shine, as being like
Yeah,
the first God of War game on PS3. It gave him more time to like work with because I imagine they wouldn't have had much time to mess around with PS3's new build kit as much as they would have done with God of War 3.
yeah,
So I
yeah,
reckon it would have just come out subpar basically. But yeah, as you said, it's a good idea that really. It obviously sold a lot because I think it still sold like something like freaking millions as well. So it was a good idea to keep it on the console that everyone actually had at the time.
yeah, of course.
Moving on. Yeah, apparently God of War 2 actually had 4 times as many bosses as the first game did. So that was one of the big improvements that they added to it. Because as we said, the first game only had 4 bosses, didn't it?
Yeah.
What else we got here? Little tidbit. Apparently, God of War 2's working title, as it was being produced, was called Divine Retribution because I think it was something about that they didn't actually want to call it God of War 2 because I think they said that they didn't consider God of War 2 a sequel. They just wanted it to feel like a direct continuation of the first game. But I remember reading that and thinking, isn't that basically what a sequel is? Because they said that they couldn't just call it God of War again because people might have mistaken it for just like an expansion. But
Yeah.
so in the end, we just settled for God of War 2. Like, it was a very weird thing. Like, why not just call it God of War 2 from the get go? But yeah, apparently its working title as it was being developed was Divine Retribution, which is also a name they used for one of the attacks on the Blade of Olympus weapon in the game, which I thought was a neat little thing. Apparently, another little tidbit, God of War 1 and 2 are the only games in the series that don't have subtitles.
At all?
At all, no. Not until the remasters.
The remasters.
Yeah,
right,
but the first few games
that's
didn't
so
have
weird.
subtitles for some reason.
That's a weird.
Yeah, a little tidbit. I know. I just remember seeing it and thinking, that just sounds interesting. Yeah, that's all I've got fact-wise for God of War 2. Unless you got anything.
Nope.
Nope. Story time, kids. God of War 2, it basically takes place right after the first game. So Kratos is he's the God of War now, isn't he?
Yeah, Athena. Basically, was it Athena
Who what? Athena
who basically gave him the title of a god now?
Yeah, Athena.
Because
yeah.
he killed Ares.
Yeah.
So yeah, basically she gifted him the title of God of War.
Yeah. But because Kratos felt like the gods betrayed him because they didn't fulfill their end of the bag, and he's basically like distanced himself from the gods, and he's just basically doing whatever the fuck he wants. So at the beginning of God of War 2, he's basically attacking. He's attacking a city basically, and then god like Athena's like warning him like if you continue doing stuff like this, you're gonna pay the price and stuff like that. But Kratos being Kratos, he's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck. So he's smashing the city to bits, and then I think Zeus steps in, doesn't it, and takes most of uh, Kratos' like godly power, and he gives it to that the Colossus of Rhodes, doesn't it? Which is that big massive
Yes.
statue, and that's the first big boss fight of the God of War. Like one of the boss fights I remember the most in that God of War 2 was that giant statue at the beginning.
Yep.
But yeah, what a way to make like the game bigger and better than like with what they did with that boss, like literally being the first boss that you fight as well. Because like the boss fight took place like all over the city, like it wasn't just in one area, was it?
Yeah, it felt big. It felt
Much more grand
grand.
scale to it, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah, he gives you all these powers, and then Zeus talks to you, but you don't know it was Zeus who stole your powers at first. So you think
Yeah.
Zeus is talking to you to like help Kratos, and then he gives Kratos the Blade of Olympus, which is the sword that he used to end the Great War with the Titans. And he says to him, basically put all of your godly powers into this blade, and you can use it to finally defeat the Colossus, which is exactly what he does. And then I think as the Colossus is dying, he fucking his hands like slams down on top of Kratos, doesn't it? And because he gave all of his powers to the sword, he's basically mortal again. So he's like seriously hurt. And then as he tries and gets the blade again because he all of his so he can get all of his powers back, Zeus steps in and basically says that yeah, I'm basically the one who did all this and that because you're a little shit basically. So yeah, he kills Kratos again, and Kratos goes to fucking Hades again, and then before he dies, I think it's like the Titan Gaia. She's been like watching Kratos all this time, and she basically brings Kratos back to life. So Kratos escapes from Hades again, and Gaia says to Kratos that the only way that basically Kratos can change his fate if he goes and finds the Sisters of Fate and change what'll happen to him in that fateful moment when Zeus kills him basically.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing again with God of War. And then after that, it's like most of the game takes place in that temple on that island, doesn't it?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
not really much story between like you being told to go there and then you finding the Sisters of Fate basically. Not that I can think of anyway.
I think they all follow a similar. Well, 1 through 3 follow a similar path of having a big build up and setting the groundwork for a story, and then just kind of
Yeah, you get given a task and then that's it for the rest of the
yeah.
game until like
It's all,
towards the end.
it's just a matter of ticking things off till you actually complete that task. But
Yeah,
the checkpoints are minor story points and just characters that you speak to get to the next bit.
yeah. So yeah, you finally come across the Sisters of Fate. And in typical Kratos fashion, you kill him, and you get the ability to go back to that moment when Zeus was about to kill you. You go back, stop. You have this big fight with Zeus, and then mid-fight, basically Athena steps in to try and stop you, and you accidentally end up killing her, don't you?
Yeah.
And it basically says that
She jumps in the way or something.
yeah, she jumps in the way between just as you were about to stab Zeus with the blade of Olympus, you basically stab her instead. And she basically says that the only reason she stepped in is because basically if Zeus died, it would basically just be the end of everything, basically. Yeah. And then Zeus realizes that no, Zeus takes the opportunity to escape basically, and then Kratos vows that he'll like destroy like all of Olympus. But then he realizes he can't do that himself, so he uses the new powers he got from the Sisters of Fate to go back to the Great War between the Titans and the gods, and he basically brings all the Titans into like the current, like the present, doesn't he?
Yeah.
And then it ends with like Kratos and all the Titans climbing up Mount Olympus to fight the gods, and that's when the story ends.
There you go.
Which is good because that's literally where God of War 3 starts from, doesn't it? Like right from the end of God of War 2, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, that's that game. Yeah, for me, out of all the God of War games, like it's God of War 2. That's probably my favorite.
Really?
I just felt like it did everything better compared to the first game, and nothing's ever like felt like that big of a jump. Like since like not even the 2018 version.
Really?
Yeah, for me anyway. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about God of War 2 that you can think of?
No, the kill list here is at a count of 16.
Yeah, there's a lot this time.
Yeah, I'm not going to read through them all. You mentioned a few of them there, like the Sisters of Fate, and obviously like the first boss, Colossus of Rhodes, and all that jazz. And Athena at the end. They're the main ones, really. Obviously, there's some others in the middle.
Yeah, you fight like Icarus and stuff like that, don't
Yeah,
you?
Icarus. Yeah, Icarus is in
Yeah, there's
there.
a few like names.
Kraken.
Yeah, there's a few names you see in like Greek mythology in there. There's a guy you get the golden sleeve off. I can't remember what his name was now.
Which one is he?
I think it begins with a P. I think. Oh, I might be wrong.
Perseus.
I think that's it. I might be wrong, but yeah, you do basically fight one of them to get the golden sleeve off him, which is what I think is the thing that he used to. Was it the golden sleeve that they used in the Greek mythology to deflect Medusa's gaze?
Something like,
I think so.
Yeah. Theseus. Head smashed on head smashed in Horsekeeper Kido. There you go. How specific.
Oh, and he also fought the barbarian that almost killed you in the first game as well.
Yeah, that's
how you got that massive hammer off.
Yes, that is the one.
That is the fella.
Right, so that's God of War 2.
Yeah, moving on. So, do you want to go past? Oh no, but yeah, it don't matter. Sorry.
Nah, just do it. Just go do it in order.
God of War Betrayal. This is the mobile game that none of us knew existed until today.
Yeah, no, there's not really much for us to say about this one.
It was a mobile game developed by Java Ground and Sony, Sony's Los Angeles division. It was released for mobile phones that supported the Java platform on June 20th, 2007. It's the only installment in the God of War series not to be released on a PlayStation platform. It's also the only game in the series that was done as a 2D side-scrolling game, and obviously not it's like typical 3D fixed camera kind of thing.
Yeah, it looks very Streets of Rage.
It does, yeah. Right. Despite being a mobile game, it actually won a few awards, including stuff like the best wireless game of the month and the best platform game of 2007. It didn't have any audio components in it except for the music in the main menu and the background sounds, like when you like when you play God of War 3 and they had like that clanging of weapon sounds whenever you came out of the menu. That was it. That was the only sound this game had. There was no combat noises. There was no dialogue. There was no in-game music. There was nothing. It was just silence. Yeah.
What?
So if you go and watch a quick little clip of the Betrayal, there was no sound at all. It's a very strange choice. I mean, I understand because for
maybe it's for when you're playing it on the buzz on your phone and you don't want to disturb people. And
but what about when you're by yourself and you want to play it? There's no sound.
I bet it had subtitles. Some at 1 and 2 didn't have.
It would have had subtitles, but they had to because they wanted to present the story. In August 2007, Phil Cohen, who was the producer, designer, and game director of Betrayal, he said that while it was enjoyable, the greatest challenge when he was making this game was trying to create a single tile set and palette swapping scheme that was diverse enough to portray multiple environments with only these several hundred kilobytes of data that they could work with because they were doing it on a mobile. This game apparently only had 2 bosses. And it was the only game that didn't have bonus costumes that you could unlock as well. Right, I'm going to bring up God of War.
Is there actually any story points?
There is a story, and I'm going to read the entire plot to you from Wikipedia because there's only 3 lines of it.
Oh wow! Here we go.
So here we go, folks. This is the most in-depth story thing that we're probably going to do today. Kratos is leading the Spartan army in a rampage across Greece. During the campaign, he is attacked by a number of beasts led by Argos, who was sent by the gods to...
Argos.
I know, Argos, I thought that. Who was sent by the gods to stop Kratos. After a series of skirmishes, Argos is killed by an unknown assassin who frames Kratos in an attempt to turn the gods against him. The Spartan pursues his foe across Greece to discover the identity of the assassin, but is slowed by constant attacks from the minions of Hades, the god of the underworld. Zeus sends, I don't know how to pronounce this, Syrinx to deliver a message to Kratos. Stop the relentless pursuit and take heed of the destruction already caused. Kratos, however, battles and kills Syrinx, which inadvertently allows the assassin to escape. Kratos then realizes his actions have further alienated the gods, and Zeus will soon act in response to his defiance. So yeah, story-wise, this took place... When did this take place? Before God of War 2. It was in between God of War 1 and 2, wasn't it?
Yes.
It was, if I look at my little note, it was a game that took place... It was the 5th game to take place story-wise.
Yeah.
Even though it was the 3rd game in the series.
So it was God of War 1, Ghost of Sparta, and then Betrayal.
Yeah,
and then God of War 2.
Yeah, that was right. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say about this game. I mean,
do you know the review score that IGN gave it?
Go on.
Have a guess.
I bet it was good. I got a feeling it was good for some reason.
Yeah,
I reckon like 6, 7, something like that.
9 out of 10.
9 out of 10. Wow. So you got it. Obviously wasn't a bad game then.
So it's bordering a masterpiece.
Hey, that's nothing. Blog critics gave it a 5 out of 5.
Wow.
Which is perfect in their eyes.
Perfect.
Perfect.
I feel... audioless. Fucking.
Forget 4 hour long. Apparently it was.
4 hours.
4 hours long.
Jesus. I've just looked on the App Store and you can't actually buy it anywhere.
I feel like when we think mobile games, I feel like we automatically think it's going to be terrible.
Yeah,
at least I do
there's
anyway.
Definitely good mobile games.
Yeah.
There's definitely good mobile games, but
it's more like the arcade type ones, not really like the typically heavy story focused game like this one.
Yeah.
But they obviously they made it work. So what do we know?
Yeah, I'm going to try and find a way of playing it.
You probably can buy like an emulator online or something like that.
Yeah, I'm sure there is. Yeah.
But do you really want to play an audioless God of War game? Like a 2D side-scrolling type one as well. That obviously
I want to just to say I have.
Just to say you have. Just to say you've done the whole series.
Yep. Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah. What else we got here? Yeah, that's all I've got for that game. Moving on. What's the next game, Tim?
I don't know what's on your list. Like I say, my list is different order to yours.
My next one's Chains of Olympus.
Ooh, so is this like this is the release order, isn't it? Yeah.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
With
so
the exception of the 3rd one, which I'm leaving to last.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So Chains of Olympus is just before God of War 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was the second story-wise.
And it released on PSP.
PSP, yep. March the 4th, 2008. This was the first one that it did on PSP. I actually played this and enjoyed it, but because of the PSP's dodgy fucking joysticks, it was so difficult at times.
Yeah.
But yeah, by June 2012, the game sold over 3.2 million copies worldwide, making it the 4th best-selling PSP game of all time.
That's good. That's good going.
Apparently, the developers Ready at Dawn pitched the idea of a God of War game to be put on the PSP to Santa Monica Studios not long after the very first game released.
Yeah.
What else we got here? Apparently, when people first found out about this game, it was when an editor from 1UP obtained an early copy of God of War 2, and he posted the game's instruction manual online, which featured a one-page teaser with PSP in the Omega symbol stating coming 2007. So it was leaked by before they even intended for it to be announced, really.
It's unusual.
Chains of Olympus uses a proprietary in-house engine referred to as the Ready at Dawn engine, which expanded on the engine that they used to create the previous game Daxter on the PSP, and it included a fluid and cloth simulator on it. This is the best bit of tidbit information I could find. Ready at Dawn repeatedly contacted Sony regarding increasing the clock speed of the PSP on account of the difference to the game and had developed a version of the game with higher speed. Sony released a firmware upgrade that allowed games to use the full 333 MHz processor. The faster processor allowed for more realistic blood effects, lighting effects, and shadows, as well as improved enemy intelligence. The upgrade, however, noticeably decreased battery life. It quite tickled me when I read that the first time.
Yeah, so that's understandable. You're putting more power through it's going to drain the battery more.
Imagine asking you like the person who's like in charge of the console that you're making a game for to release an upgrade that makes your console work faster just so you can make a better game.
Yeah, why not?
Why not? And it obviously paid off in the end because this game was also very well received. This is the first and only game that showed Kratos actually smiling, which is when he was reunited with his daughter towards the end. This is the only game in the series that does not feature Ares, neither in appearance nor mentioned by anyone else in the game.
I've just typed in Kratos smiling, and all I'm getting is those GIFs, like those memes of the latest God of War where they've put it on that smiling app.
Oh yeah, I'm just seeing it now. Hang on, Kratos smiling, Chains of Olympus. Oh, I love it. Hang on, you just keep talking.
I've got nothing to talk about.
I'm gonna send
I'm
it
just
to you.
watching the video.
I'm gonna send it. Hang on, save image. I'm gonna send it to you on fucking Discord.
Okay. Someone's made a video all of Kratos smiling happiest moments of God of War. Jesus Christ.
1 moment.
This is good listening. Absolutely.
This. I'll just send it to you.
Prime time. Jesus Christ, that's not the fucking.
That was a smile.
I was just gonna send you this one. This is off the video that someone's made of him smiling. Apparently, his happiest moments.
Boobies.
There you go. Yeah, boobies, and he's got a little grin on his face. Well, it's not even a grin, man. It's just like.
It's just like he's going like,
Interesting.
Yeah,
Right, anyway.
Kratos and smiling don't go well together, apparently.
No.
What else have we got? Sorry about that, folks. It must have been very interesting to listen to. What else we got? This is the only game in which Kratos loses his powers but gains them all back at the end. In every other game that involves Kratos losing his powers, i.e. God of War 2 and 3, he loses his powers but never regains them. Instead, he has to like start fresh, kind of thing. So we'll talk about this, but like in God of War 3, when you're swimming through the river Styx and you lose all your powers, apparently they had like a lot of other like enemies and environments they wanted to include in this game, but they had to cut it from the final release due to time constraints. Apparently this is the only game in the series that doesn't have like a rage ability. So like how in God of War 3 you summoned the Blade of Olympus, you became like invincible.
Yeah.
So like all the other God of Wars are like a kind of similar system, having the like in the newest one you like you go crazy, don't you? You start using like your bare hands and stuff like that.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Chains of Olympus was the only God of War game that didn't have any kind of gameplay system like that. But yeah, that's all I've got tidbit wise.
Yeah, there you go. The kill count for this one is
what about the story?
That's how kill count. Oh, go on then. To be honest, I haven't played this one.
There was 2 released on PSP. I did play this Chains of Olympus one, but I never played the Ghost of Sparta one.
Oh, I played a bit of one of them, and I can't remember which one it was, but I didn't play it. Whichever one it was, I didn't play it enough to talk about it, to be honest.
I'm trying to remember the story now. It takes place when Kratos is during like the 10 years that Kratos is serving the gods basically.
Yeah.
So like during the time when he killed his family and during the time when he finally got tasked to kill Ares at the beginning of the first game, there was like a 10-year period where he was doing what basically any god other than Ares told him to do in hopes that he would finally, get what he wanted. So this takes place during them 10 years. Yeah, off the top of my head, it basically starts off you're like fighting the Persian army, and then you fight this big freaking like monster. Oh, what's it called? I think it was the basilisk. I think you basically fight this giant monster and you win, and then I don't know. Then after you win, you basically see the sun fall from the sky, and it's basically and then what's his name? What's the god of the sun called?
Helios.
Helios, that was it. Yeah. Yeah, it's basically because Helios was captured, it allowed the sun to fall, and because there's no longer a sun in the sky, the god of dreams and sleep, Morpheus, can now he basically puts all the other gods into like a deep slumber, and because they're all in a slumber, it basically means the world's fucked basically. So Kratos gets tasked with finding Helios again, and breaking Morpheus's spell on everyone. I'm trying to remember what else happened. So yeah, you find out that Helios is in Hades basically. So in typical Kratos fashion, you go down into Hades because it's easy to do. And then this and that happens, and you find out that that the one behind it all was what's her name now? What's Hades' wife called? Persephone. That's it. Yeah, the one who ate the pomegranate. Yeah, you basically find out it was like some big like conspiracy like thing that she cooked up, that because she was betrayed by the gods and because like she was tricked into being Hades' wife and the gods did nothing. She basically wants to destroy like all of what's it called? There's like a pillar that used to hold up like the entire like worlds as it
it's listed here as she wanted to destroy the world.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, there was a thing holding up like all of Greece or whatever it was. It was called like the Pillar of something.
I know what you mean. Yeah, I can't think of the name.
Yeah, and her plan was to get the Titan Atlas, who was using the power that Helios had, because it was not there in the sky to destroy this pillar. There's a big fight that happens, and during this fight, just as Atlas breaks the pillar, Kratos uses like all these massive chains to like bind Atlas to the earth above him. So it is pretty much all down to like the Greek mythology that Atlas is the one who's holding the earth up.
Yeah.
That's basically how he came to do it, because Kratos was the one who did it. Basically, in the God of War universe, half of the stuff that happened in the Greek mythology world is because Kratos did something.
It's a very well built world, like in terms of what already exists in the stories.
Yeah,
incorporating it all into a new story, like into his story.
Yeah, they definitely worked it well. I remember during the first game, it said that the design team actually was given like quite a lot of freedom to like rework like all the myths and stuff, like to better suit the purposes of like the story and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it.
And then they just kill everyone.
Yeah, you just kill every single one of them. Yeah, so you kill Persephone, you stop a plan. Helios returns to the sky and breaks Morpheus' spell on the gods, and everything's hunky dory again then.
Yeah.
And that's basically it. That's that story. There was a lot more to it. It's just I can't remember that story off the top of my head very well. That's all. There was the stuff like you meet your daughter again in like Elysium, like the fields of Elysium, which is like the equivalent of like heaven basically.
Yeah.
But you basically get told by Persephone that the only way you can stay in Elysium with your daughter is if you give up all your powers. But obviously without your powers you couldn't stop Persephone. And if she succeeded, she would have destroyed not only like Greece, but she would have destroyed like Hades and Elysium as well, therefore killing her daughter. So yeah, he basically had a choice between staying with his daughter or, saving the world. And he was forced to. I remember there was actually a quick time event, like after when it came to deciding like what to do, there was a quick time event where you had to keep like mashing circle to like basically push your daughter away from you. And I remember playing it for the first time. I just pictured it in like, because when I think quick time event and Kratos, I just picture him like, basically smashing heads in and stuff like that. I just remember thinking, is this what this quick time event's leading to? But no, you basically just shove her away, like you're like, oh, get away from me, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's Chains of Olympus for you folks.
Yeah, there you go. That's that one done.
Moving on, we've got 2 left, folks. No, 3 left, including our main one. So yeah.
Shall we do it? Shall we do it in order and just do the? What do you reckon?
Well, we got the way I was going to do it is go to Sparta, then Ascension, and then finally God of War 3.
Right. Okay.
Just because we got a lot more to talk about with God of War 3.
Yeah, that's fine.
So yeah, moving on. The second PSP game, The Ghost of Sparta, God of War 3 Ghost of Sparta. It was first released on the PSP on November the 2nd, 2010. Apparently the combat system was updated with 25% more gameplay than Chains of Olympus had. It sold by June 2012. It sold almost 1.2 million copies worldwide, making it the 15th best-selling PlayStation Portable game of all time. What else we got here?
So this one sits directly after the first God of War.
Yeah,
it's
storyline. Takes place between the first and second one again. What else we got? One of the new systems that they added to this game was called the Augmented Death System. It was it basically just revolved around showing different death animations in the enemies depending on what weapon or magic that you killed them with.
Yep.
A new mode exclusive to this game was added called the Temple of Zeus, which allows players to sacrifice collected red orbs to unlock additional features such as challenges, bonus costumes, behind the scenes videos, and concept art. So we'll get more into this, but I feel like one of the biggest things I had with God of War 3 is that once you upgraded all your stuff, you had nothing else to do with your red orbs, did you?
No.
So I feel like
they're just pointless.
Yeah, so I feel like them adding this Temple of Zeus where you could use them to buy like behind the scenes stuff and like that was a good little thing to throw in. Development of Ghost of Sparta took 23 months to complete, so not even 2 years really, was it?
That's not that
That's
bad,
pretty quick, that. Apparently the story concept of this game was originally used as a teaser for the players who obtained the Platinum Trophy for God of War 3. So that's a good little thing, getting teased like the next game if you decide to get a Platinum Trophy.
I can't remember that.
I can't either, to be honest, but they did it apparently.
Probably for America.
Possibly. Dana Jan, the director of this game, stated that fans wanted a female version of Kratos. So Dana Jan presented this idea to the team and they designed a Goddess of War costume, but this costume never made it to the final publication of the game. And I've looked at the picture of it and it's terrifying. Another little thing, in the start menu of the God of War Ghost of Sparta, the left side of Kratos' face, hang on, sorry. In the start menu, the left side. Yeah, sorry. The start menu of the Ghost of Sparta, the tattoo side of Kratos' face is shown, while in every other game his scarred side of his face is shown in the main menu instead. So you're making me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I was going to say, what's the point? But there's not.
I think it's because they actually go into like the reason why Kratos actually has these tattoos in this game. In the Ghost of Sparta.
Oh, is this the one where they explain it? Right. Okay.
Yeah. So with like his brother and stuff like that.
Yes. Because I actually didn't know about that until researching this.
I didn't either. Because I this is one of the two that I've not actually played. What else? Yeah, that's about it. So yeah, story-wise, off the top of my head, so at this point, Kratos has been made the God of War, and he starts having visions of like some woman trapped in Atlantis, which is Poseidon's place, obviously. So he goes there and he finds that it's actually his mum, and she tells him about his brother. Oh, what's his name? Deimos, I think it is.
Yeah, Deimos. Yeah.
Deimos, yeah, she tells him about his brother Deimos, who was taken away from him when they were both younger because it was prophesied to the gods that someone called, I think it was the Marked Warrior, would be the one to bring about uh, Olympus's end, basically. So when they first found Kratos and Deimos as a kid, Deimos had like a birthmark over his eye, which is like kind of similar to Kratos' tattoo. So they see him and they think that he's the one they were talking about, so they take him away. But obviously, as we know, it was referring to Kratos when he eventually gets his, family's ashes put on him.
Yeah.
So yeah, he gets taken away, and then you find out Deimos is alive, and it's it basically just becomes, again, you get given a task, find Deimos again, and you set out, and it's just combat for the rest of the game until you finally find Deimos hidden away by, oh, what's his name, the god of death, not Hades, Thanatos. That's it. You basically find out that Thanatos was Deimos was given to Thanatos to like keep him locked away, but you find him, and then Deimos naturally like hates you because he thinks like, you abandoned him and stuff like that. You didn't do your best to try and save him. So there's a big like scrap between the two of you. And then Thanatos steps in, basically explains the whole situation, like what happens, like why Deimos is there. And then you two team up, fight Thanatos. Thanatos kills Deimos. And then in your rage, obviously you kill Thanatos, and then Deimos is put away, and then Kratos is given another reason to hate the gods, which all kind of builds up to, his reasoning behind wanting to destroy everything when we finally get to God of War 3. So while there's not much story-wise in these kind of like prequel ones, it all kind of adds fuel to the fire, really, about that Kratos isn't completely unreasonable in like wanting to destroy everything in the third game.
Yeah, they add quite a bit of lore as well to origins and certain things.
Yeah.
Why he does certain things. Obviously, like his merkins that he's got. Is that?
Yeah,
like you said.
Yeah. So Kratos give himself them tattoos, those red tattoos over his eye, because they were similar to like the ones his brother had. So he was just doing it as kind of like a homage to his memory, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah, as you said, it just gives Kratos like a little bit more character, so they don't make him come off completely as this like one note character.
So the Deimos, the actual Greek thing. Apparently, he was the son of Ares.
All right.
I'm just reading it now. The actual Greek mythology. Obviously, it's tweaked a bit. He was the son of Ares and Aphrodite, is it, or whatever?
Aphrodite,
yeah. He was the personification of terror. His name meant dread. He had a twin brother, Phobos, or whatever, and apparently that means fear. He did not appear in any stories of Greek mythology, but he was a mere representation of terror for humans. There you go.
He didn't seem very terrifying in that game.
Nah. Little bitch.
Little bitch. Moving on, we've got 2 games left. Got for this next one, God of War Ascension, which was the last game that they made before finally making the 2018 God of War.
It was the last game, but it was also the first game in the story.
Yeah, because the story in this game takes place pretty much straight after you've just killed your family.
Yeah.
I think it was also at this point that like the reviews and sales for like God of War started to fall, because I feel like everyone was they felt like it was all pretty much the same at this point. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it was.
It was getting stale. Yeah.
It was getting stale, and wasn't this the first one that it had a multiplayer?
Yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah.
I played a bit of this. I never finished it though. But yeah, I think this was definitely the point where people was like, wasn't it really close to the end of the PS3 life cycle as well, which I don't think helped.
It was released 2013. So when did PS4 come out?
PS4 launch was 13.
Oh yeah, so there November. You go then. So yeah.
and I think that damaged it.
Mm,
Well, probably not as much because it was March, and obviously PS4 come out in November or whatever,
yeah,
October, November. So I don't think it would have been that, but still, it does have a knock on.
yeah,
I might actually go back and play this one though on PlayStation now because with it being right at the beginning
yeah.
in terms of story, I wouldn't mind going back and playing this one.
Fair enough. Yeah, so yeah, Ascension was developed by Santa Monica Studio and published by Sony. As we said, it was released March the 12th, 2013 for the PlayStation 3. Ascension, is, as we mentioned, is the only installment in the series to include a multiplayer. Apparently, from October 2012 to March 2013, they did a social experience that was available online in the form of a graphic novel titled The Rise of the Warrior, which was a prequel story that tied into the game's single player and multiplayer modes, which is pretty cool. One of the new things they introduced to this game was a new weapon mechanic called the World Weapons System, which allowed Kratos to pick up weapons scattered throughout the game locations or to take them from defeated foes, but you could only use them for a limited time. So depending on the region you were in, they use different weapons, so it kind of mixed things up a little bit depending on what level you were on.
Yeah.
Another new mechanic they introduced was that Kratos could now tether enemies. He can hold onto an enemy. He can hold an enemy in place with one blade while he attacks other enemies with his other blade. He can also throw the tethered enemies as well. And it introduced a new promptless freeform quick time system as well. I think from what I watched it was basically, instead of being given a specific button to press, it basically allowed you to, I think it was press any button really in response to, the prompts popping up. So it kind of made it a bit easier really. Apparently multiplayer had been discussed for the past games but had never been implemented, as previous game directors felt that God of War was a single player only experience. Apparently in Chains of Olympus' case, it was originally going to be implemented in Chains of Olympus, but it was cut due to time constraints during development. In terms of Ascension, the development team made the decision to invest in multiplayer after a simple version tested using 2 Kratos models turned out to be a lot more fun than they originally thought it would be. Apparently development of the whole game was delayed several times because the multiplayer mode had to be rewritten several times.
Jesus.
So the production was obviously hurt a lot just by adding multiplayer. This is also the first game that never included save alters, them beams of light where you could save the game.
Yeah.
So the way the save system worked in this game, it just used auto saves. This game is also the first game not to have a sex minigame in it.
Oh, boo.
Boo! That's probably why it didn't sell so well.
Yeah, that's it. That's the breaking point there.
Yeah, something we're not mentioning is every God of War up to this point has had this kind of like sex minigame.
All really awful.
All terrible, yeah. Even the God of War 3 one. Well, I don't think they had one in Ascension, and we didn't have one in the 2018 version either. Because I feel like they went a bit. You know what? We're a bit more mature than this.
Yeah, definitely.
They were funny though. You got to admit.
Yeah, they definitely were.
I
sent you the picture, didn't I? It was International Women's Day, and then
you just got that achievement, yeah.
I got the trophy in God of War 3 for doing the sex scene. Which was ironic.
This is a bit of information I liked a lot. Apparently, in the cistern level, there was an optional puzzle which, when you solved it, unlocked a hidden painting that reads, "When Earth stops revolving, the new journey begins," which was apparently a teaser for the upcoming God of War game in 2018. So they were teasing it even in Ascension, which I thought was pretty cool. Another bit of information that I liked. some reviewers dislike the title of one of the game's trophies, Bros Before Hoes, which is received after graphically face stomping a female villain. In response to these criticisms of misogyny, Santa Monica released a patch changing the name of the trophy to Bros Before Foes.
Oh, bloody hell for you.
Oh man.
Oh, because of a trophy name.
Just because of a trophy name. Just because you face stomped a villain to death. But yeah, that's all I got story-wise. I mean, not story-wise, tidbit-wise. I'm going to let you read the story for this one, Tim.
I don't have it.
I guess I'll do it then. Yeah, as I mentioned, Ascension takes place right after you kill your family. So at this point, you're still bound to Ares. And because you decided no longer to serve, and you're basically broken what's called like a blood oath, which is what you made with Ares when you asked him to kill that army. And because you broke this blood oath, you basically like incur the wrath of these things called the Furies, and they're like in charge of like keeping like oaths and bonds and stuff like that. So because you've broken this oath, you basically get captured by the Furies and tortured until you meet this character, and I can't remember what his fucking name is now. Just give me a sec. Yeah, Arcus. You basically find out this guy called Arcus. He was basically the son of one of the Furies and Ares in an attempt to create like the perfect warrior. But Arcus tells you that he met up with this other character whose name I also can't remember, and this other character, she had what was called like the eyes of truth. And using these eyes, she saw that Ares was intending to completely overthrow Olympus by trying to create like the perfect warrior, which is what he tried to do when he created Arcus, and what he was also trying to do when he, made Kratos kill his family. So yeah, when they find out this truth, they basically tried Arcus and this other character tried to tell Zeus, but Ares found out. And when Ares found out, he sent the Furies to basically rip out the eyes of truth from this other character and, punish Arcus, basically.
Yeah.
And, and then it all comes down to, but you basically get told to kill the Furies. That in killing the Furies, it's the only way to break your blood oath to Ares so you can be free, really. So again, you do that. There's a big epic fight where there's 3 Furies. You kill all of them, and then at the end, Arcus comes to you again, and he reveals that before the Furies died, they basically made Arcus like the keeper of Kratos' oath to Ares, so that in order to finally break free from Ares' control, he had to kill Arcus. And there was a big they're trying to make it like dead sad, like like Kratos and Arcus were like these like close friends and stuff. Because Kratos was like, no, I've already spilt too much innocent blood and stuff like that. But he was like yeah, if you want to finally get away with Ares, you've got no choice but to kill me. So he stabs him, he kills him, and then Kratos goes off to do his 10 years of service to the gods, and that's pretty much it. So again, story-wise, it's nothing amazing. Like, I feel like they could have not done this one at all, really.
It's a weird one, isn't it? Like you say, it's the last one of this. Like they call it the first era, the Greek era.
Yeah, the Greek era
of God of War, and yet it's right at the beginning of the storyline where everything's kind of all fleshed out and done, so to speak. It is an odd one in why they released it why they made this one at all.
It's odd that, it's like you said, like this is the last game, but it's also the first one in the story. It's very weird.
Yeah, when they've just done God of War 3 and finished it off. What was it, 3 years after God of War 3? It is an odd one. Why they bothered doing this at all.
Like I say, I feel like it was just a general feeling surrounding Ascension of, why bother? I feel like that's why a lot of people didn't really buy it, because it just felt like kind of like they just did it to try to like ride on the success of God of War 3, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an odd one. It's weird, but again, it kind of fills out, the burning questions that fans might have had regarding, various points of Kratos' life, but it just did not
Yeah.
feel necessary at all.
No. Anyway, yeah, that's that one done.
But yeah,
One
that's it.
left.
That's all of them, bar the game of choice that we both actually have played this month.
Yeah, because it is actually 10 years old.
Yeah, because it actually from this month 10 years old, as Tim just said.
And that's God of War 3.
God of War 3, woo!
Right, so do you want to do your story bants?
I'm so
Get this
tired.
last one, and I'll get this one out of the way, and then we'll just have a bit of a. We don't really need to go too much into, I suppose, the
Okay,
actual
here's
gameplay and stuff, do we?
here's Liam's snack facts, everyone.
Snap facts.
Yeah, I've decided we're calling it snack facts.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's going to be a bit more in depth compared to everything else. So, again, because this is actually the game.
Yeah, go for it.
So here we go. God of War 3, it was developed by Santa Monica Studio and published by Sony. It was released for the PS3 in North America on March 16, 2010, March 18th in Australia, March 19th in Europe, and March 25th in Japan. Until the remaster version, which is the one we played on the PS4, was released in North America July the 14th, 2015, July 15th in Europe, and July 17th in the UK. It sold nearly 5.2 million copies worldwide as of June 2012, which made it the second best-selling game in the God of War series and the ninth best-selling PlayStation 3 game of all time. Oh yeah, basically, during an interview, the creative team behind God of War 3 said that they were basically talking about what they were gonna include in the game, so they were gonna have it, in HD, 60 frames, that stuff. But they also mentioned they were going to use the 6-axis motion control on the PS3 controller. But they had to remove. They didn't have any 6-axis tilt compatibility by the end because they said that they couldn't really find a suitable situation in which using that feature would be, make sense. Which is good because I feel like a lot of games just tacked on that motion tilting stuff just for the sake of just having it, really. So for him to come out and basically say that, yeah, we're not including it because we just didn't feel like it fit in the game at all is, that's always a plus in my books.
Yeah, of course. Because I know that like games like Resistance always seem to shoehorn it in and stuff like that.
It reminds me of Dark Sector as well on PS3. I remember when you threw the boomerang and you can move it about with the motion control, but it's like what's the point? I just use the analog sticks anyway.
Yeah. Same with like Killzone.
Yeah.
When you turn in vents and stuff and you have to bloody, it's like, oh,
okay. After the first 8 months of development, Cory Barlog actually left Santa Monica to pursue other opportunities. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, so again I apologise. Stig Asmussen took over as the game director. And previously, Stig served as the lead environment artist and art director of God of War 1 and 2.
Stig.
I don't know, just like unironically actually being named Stig.
Go on.
Apparently, Stig said that one of the greatest challenges in developing God of War 3 for the PlayStation 3 was the complexity of everything. Just individual tasks such as designing Helios' decapitation could take a year. Because of all the level of detail that was expected. So
I've just searched Stig.
Oh yeah.
Apparently he worked on Star Wars Jedi Fallen.
Oh yeah, I already became the director of that. Yeah, he joined Respawn Entertainment.
So Stig's not doing too bad.
I know. Yeah, going from God of War onto Star Wars, that's pretty good. That.
It's a good old Stig.
All of them. All of the main protagonists were actually animated by hand rather than using motion capture, which I think is an odd one because apparently it was more effective work than using motion capture. I don't, did any of Kratos' movements ever seem like they were animated by hands? Like nothing ever seemed like stiff or anything to me.
I suppose it's a lot of work and it's impressive, but also unnecessary.
Yeah. Well, apparently
because nothing ever really stood out as being like janky or weirdly animated or anything like that. But,
so yeah, thinking about it, considering that they were all animated by hand, that's actually quite impressive. That.
Yeah.
But they said that the voice actors' facial movements were recorded like using motion capture, so which is to be expected because like, I imagine hand animating faces is never never going to end well.
No, there's obviously a lot of close-ups and stuff on this
Yeah.
as well.
And finally, the engine for God of War 3 was actually from the first two installment games. The Santa Monica senior producer Steve Caterson said that the development team ported God of War 2's engine to the PS3 and were able to quickly play the game. This basically meant that they could start creating new, because they already had the previous animations and stuff from the first two games. They could basically start creating new content for the game straight away instead of having to work on animation and stuff like that. Because a lot of the animations in God of War 3 were pretty much exactly the same as the first two games.
Yeah.
Like some combos anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, not as much interesting tidbits about this game as there was the other one, so that's all I've got. So moving on, performance. What did you think of it performance-wise?
I mean, it was spot on, really. There was a couple of bits early on and towards the end where there was some weird texture glitches.
I had that only once, and it was when you were inside Gaia after and all the walls were like freaking yellow, blue, and pink lines and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was like the weird mesh textures. It was very. Yeah, it would have been the exact same bit where you crawling between like the gaps and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was exactly that bit. Yeah. So it must be like a universal problem that.
Yeah, so it's odd that they've not fixed it, but well.
But yeah, apart from that, it was great. 60 frames, no other graphical glitches. It looked amazing. Like even back on PS3, I remember it looked freaking beyond belief.
Yeah, it looked really good. Yeah.
So
can't fault anything.
Oh yeah, now the remastered version, what we played, it just looks even better in 4K and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no problem story-wise. I mean, not story-wise, sorry, performance-wise.
Performance, yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely fine.
Yeah, story time. I'm going to let you do this, Tim, because I've told the story of freaking 6 other games.
I know, but you're so good at it, man.
I'm not.
I'm terrible at.
I'm a fucking wreck. I'm a wreck. But yeah, go on, tell the story.
Yeah, fuck it. I hate doing this bit because I just cut loads out without realising, and it's like, all right, so yeah,
it's fine. I'm just gonna sit back and let you do your thing.
So it basically starts off with you're basically on the Titans climbing up Mount Olympus, in it, and you're basically going for your vengeance to the gods, to Zeus and whatnot, trying to take them down. It's which one's it straight after this one now?
God of War 2.
God of War 2. So yeah, he's like called all the Titans back up and shit, and all to the same time. And your first big fight, it's a proper big one, this, isn't it? It's like I remember being like jaw dropped at this.
With Poseidon, yeah.
Yeah, with Poseidon, I was like, wow, like you're on the back of like Gaia.
Yeah.
And the scale of it, I remember just thinking, fucking, even replaying it now, I was like, this is still incredible.
It is like the entirety of God of War 3 is just like a cinematic fucking masterpiece, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So yeah, as Tim said, you fight Poseidon, and you kill him in like the best way possible, in like a proper like first person camera, like literally seeing. No, you're like seeing it from Poseidon's point of view, aren't you?
Yeah, so it's like I didn't like that.
Oh, why?
There's another bit that goes into first person as well.
It's when you fight Zeus at the end, isn't it?
Yeah, and I'm just like, it just doesn't feel right. It doesn't. Yeah.
I thought it was cool actually seeing from like the person Kratos' killing point of view. It was kind of like kind of like some fucked up ASMR in a way. Like Kratos fucking kills you until you fall asleep. So you kill Poseidon, and then you jump back on Gaia, and you carry on climbing Mount Olympus. You get to the top, you find Zeus, and then Zeus, using all of his godly power, like chucks a lightning bolt at Gaia, and it's got that much force behind it that it actually sends you both falling down the mountain. But Gaia grabs on because the thunderbolt that Zeus just threw basically blew one of her hands off, so she's only got the one hand. So she can barely hang on, and then Kratos is barely hanging on himself off Gaia. And then Kratos asks Gaia to help him, but Gaia says that Kratos was only, a pawn in, the Titans'
Yeah, yeah.
way of finally getting revenge on Olympus. So she just lets Kratos fall back down to, surprise,
The
surprise,
underworld.
Hades. Woo! We're back in Hades
Hades.
again. So you
He
fall back.
falls into the river Styx.
Yeah, you fall into the river Styx, and as you're trying to swim out, all the dead souls keep attacking you, and every time they do it, they take all of your abilities and your powers and stuff, so your health goes down to, a pittance, and so your magic completely goes,
Yeah, and
stuff
all
like
your
that.
powers and
So
everything
yeah,
from the previous.
so you're back to, baby steps again. Uh, yeah, so as you're trying to make your way out of Hades, you keep every now and then you keep meeting like this, like it's like a blue flame, isn't it? And you keep hearing like a girl's voice in it, like a little girl's voice. But we don't
Yeah,
really
yeah.
say who it is because obviously you don't care. You're Kratos, you're just trying to get out. But yeah, you keep hearing this little girl's voice. You just pay no mind to it. And then
Spoilers.
yeah, spoilers
Pandora.
for now. Yeah, but she is important. Yeah. What else happens? Yeah, you meet the ghost of Athena again. She's helping you apparently, and then she gives you the blades of exile, which is like your new main weapon.
It's basically just the chaos blades,
Yeah,
but
it's just
with a different
yeah, it's
pattern.
just a chaos blades again. Just with a PS3 upgrade. With just an HD upgrade applied to it. Yeah, so you do all the puzzles and you fight all the monsters in Hades until you finally get to my favourite boss battle in the game, which is with Hades.
I hated it the first time around, but I enjoyed it this time.
Why did you hate it?
I don't know. I remember finding it quite difficult the first time I played it, so I always
I'll
hated
get
it.
more into it because we'll talk about bosses individually later on. But yeah, Hades was my favourite. He's like my favourite Greek god as well, so I'm probably a bit biased. But yeah, you fight Hades, you kill him, you get the soul of Hades, which lets you swim through the river Styx, which is how you manage to get back up to back onto what's the city below the Mount Olympus called?
Oh
Is it
shit, I can't
Athens?
remember.
It's not Athens, is it? Yeah, Olympus. So yeah, you basically finally get out of Hades and you're back in Olympus, and then not Olympus, Athens, sorry. Yeah, and then you make your way through Athens, and you come across Helios, who's fighting one of the Titans, and then using a ballista, you basically shoot. No, you manage to damage Helios's chariot, which lets one of the Titan that he's fighting grab him and crush him, and then chuck him into the side of a mountain, basically.
Yeah,
And then you confront. Yeah, you meet like a disgraced god called Hephaestus, and he basically tells you that one of the ways you can get enough power to kill Zeus is by finding the flames of Olympus, but no one seems to know one where it is or how it would even help you. So off you go to find this flame. Then you do the bit with Helios, and then he he doesn't tell you where to go, does he?
he kind of he tries to send you basically tries to get you killed, doesn't he?
Oh yeah, he tells you to just
He-
walk into him, doesn't he?
yeah, he kind of sends you down this route where he doesn't think you're going to come back from, basically.
Yeah, yeah. He tries to trick you, but he said that Hephaestus told me that the fire kills anything that it touches and stuff like that. So
Yeah,
yeah, to pay him back for lying to you, basically rip his head off, and it
yeah, yeah,
becomes your new weapon. That's another common theme with God of War games. You always used to have like the head of something as like one of your weapons, like
yeah,
whether it's
yeah,
like the
yeah.
head of Medusa or stuff like that. What happens then? Yeah, you fight Helios. And then
And basically everything plunges into darkness.
Oh yeah,
Obviously,
every time you kill a god, like it basically fucks the world up a bit more. So when you kill
yeah,
Poseidon, it causes the oceans to flood the world, and when you kill Helios, it causes the sun to fall from the sky. And so with
yeah,
every god that he kills, it basically condemns the world just that little bit more.
yeah. And then, so pretty much after that, Athena well, I think this is the next bit. Athena appears and tells you like the flame. He's basically going for the Pandora thing again, and he finds out.
Don't you meet like Hermes and stuff like that before then?
Uh, do you meet him before that?
Yeah, I'm reading it here now. So it's like Helios' death plunges Greece into eternal darkness. This leads to an encounter with Hermes, who mocks Kratos for his past sins. Blah blah blah.
All right, there you go then. Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
he
you
finds
meet
out about Pandora's box from Hermes then.
yeah. So you meet Hermes. His boss battle's weird, wasn't it? It was basically just chasing him across Athens, wasn't it?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, he's constantly mocking you, so you're chasing him, and then you finally using like a bit of ballista trickery, you freaking manage to injure him enough so that he can't run away. So then you kill him and take his boot. You cut his legs off, don't you? And then
you literally cut his legs off. Yeah.
You literally pick him up and cut his legs off, and then you use his boots for yourself. Which I thought it was a bit weird that his boots like perfectly fit you, even though you were much more bigger than he was. But hey, gods and their stuff. But yeah, he basically finds out from Hermes that it's, as Tim said, it's Pandora's box. That's actually inside the flames of Olympus, and that's what that's Pandora's box that he needs to finally get the power again to kill Zeus.
Yeah.
I think it is Athena who does reappear and tell her that the flames can only be removed by Pandora herself.
Yeah.
What happens then?
Doesn't
he meet? Isn't that when he fights Hercules after that?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So.
So you come across Hera. That's her name, isn't it? The drunken woman. Yeah.
She sends Hercules out to try and stop.
Yeah.
Well, he's like his half brother.
Yeah, because his dad's Zeus as well, but he's got like a different mum. And Hercules is dead jealous because he reckons Zeus gave you like all the, the favoured treatment while he was off doing all these like trials and stuff.
Yeah.
So you have a big battle with him again, which again another amazing boss fight. Like just like in terms of like the cinema direction and everything like that.
Yeah, when you pound his face into
it's fucking brutal that bit, just smashing his face in literally. I think that's when you come across Aphrodite, and then this is what happens with her. You have a boss battle with her in a completely different way. And that's when you get sent back out through. That's when you meet Hephaestus again. That's when he tells you that he'll create you a weapon to let you proceed forward. But to do that, he needs that stone. I can't remember what it's called. The Omphalos stone. But he says the only place you can find that is in Tartarus, which is basically like the graveyard of like the Great War.
Yeah.
So, but he's basically like tricking you, isn't he? He expects you to die in Tartarus.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's what I was on about before. Yeah.
Yeah. So as he goes into Tartarus, that's when you come across Kronos, the Titan that you saw in the first game, and then cue the fucking massive boss battle with Kronos.
Yeah. That was one of my favourites.
Yeah.
Not necessarily for what you do, but just the actual scene of it.
Yeah, just how he did it, like the whole thing, just to make you feel like you are actually fighting this massive creature.
Yeah, it's impressive.
So you get the stone from Kronos because it's actually inside Kronos. Then you go back to Hephaestus. Then Hephaestus makes you the weapon, but the weapon that you need to proceed forward. But as you turn your back to Hephaestus, he actually tries killing you, doesn't he?
Yeah, which went well. Not
mention it, sorry, but the reason he tries to kill her is because you tell him that you need to find Pandora, and he thinks he's going to try and kill her, don't he?
Yeah.
So he's basically just doing it to protect his daughter.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, you kill him in, again, typical god fashion. What else happens then after that? Yeah, I think then you get to you get to that labyrinth, don't you?
Yeah, you end up you travel through Hera's gardens and you end up killing her, don't you?
Oh yeah.
Which ends up killing all the plant life, and that's another god that ruins more of the world.
Yeah.
So to speak. But then you proceed on to the actual labyrinth to find Pandora.
Oh, that's something we didn't mention. When you killed Hermes, it unleashed like a plague on the world, didn't it?
Yeah, that's the one.
Like, I don't know what Hermes was a god of other than like running fast, but I think he must have been like the god of like freaking health or some shit like that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Let's have a look. Hermes god. Here we go. He was considered as the herald of the gods as well as the protector of human heralds, travelers, thieves, merchant, orators, respectively. So I don't know why him dying would unleash a plague.
No, it's a weird one that. Because
Anyway,
all
sorry.
the others do tie in
Yeah,
with
with like
whatever happens.
the theme, yeah.
Right, anyway.
Anyway, moving on, sorry. So what did we say? Yeah, you go through Hera's guard and you kill her. She's dead. Then you come to the labyrinth that Daedalus made, which has Pandora at the very center of the labyrinth. You manage to raise the labyrinth up to where the Pandora's box is and the flame of Olympus is. And I think just as you get there, that's when Zeus finally steps in to try and stop you. And then there's a bit of a battle between Zeus and Kratos, and then Pandora gets sacrificed to the flames to quench obviously to get rid of the fire. And then Kratos opens the box, doesn't he, and finds that there's basically nothing inside.
Yeah, there's nothing in there. Is it something like he already had the power from the first time he opened the box? So
yeah, there was two things in there. One, there was like the gift of hope and like the gift of like all the like evil and stuff that was like taken from the Great War. I think when he opened it, like the evil, it was like what can like not only gave Kratos his power to defeat Ares, but it also instilled like the fear in like Zeus that made him do like half the crazy shit that he did. I think that was it anyway. But then I know what you mean by like Athena's like gift of like hope and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, then another big battle with Zeus, and then as you're fighting Zeus, that's when Gaia reaches the top again, and you find that she's still alive. And then you do like a big battle like inside her again.
Yeah, she tries killing both you and Zeus together, and you end up falling inside a chest wound.
A chest wound.
And then you end up having another fight with Zeus inside Gaia, which results in killing Zeus and Gaia together by ramming the fucking big old sword straight through them both.
Mm-hmm.
Well, into Gaia's heart and then through Zeus, which is actually it doesn't really kill Zeus, does it?
No, because then it's
not just yet.
Yeah, because then when you think Zeus is dead, his like fucking spirit comes out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what it is. Is it his spirit or is it like all that fear and shit that got inside him? Doesn't really explain it, does it?
No, it doesn't really.
But yeah, his spirit comes out and he basically destroys all your weapons that you gathered throughout the game, and he's like he makes you go into like this fucking psychic like thing inside your own head, doesn't it? So you like relive all like your horrors and stuff. But
and then you come back. Yeah, it's a bit shit that bit. You just
it's a bit cheesy. That and then Pandora's like her spirit's still there, and it gives you like hope and shit like that. But it gives you enough. It gives you enough power to break free from this like psychic prison.
Yeah.
And then
you come back to, and then you kick his ass.
And then you keep mashing his fucking head in, don't you, until you finally stop pressing circle.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
How long did you keep going with that when you just kept pressing circle and the screen just got more bloody?
Till you couldn't see anything, then I was like, well, and then for a while after, and then I was like, and then I stopped, and then it progressed. I was like, all right, I forgot about that.
I know. I did the same. Like when the screen went full bloody, I was just still mashing circle. And all you could hear was like just Kratos still battering him in the background. So then Zeus is officially dead then, and then it pretty much seals the destruction of the world. Then like everything's fucked basically.
Yeah.
And then Athena appears.
The way I took this is basically she tries telling Kratos to pass his powers on to her so she can fix everything. And the way I took it was she's kind of used Kratos knowing that this would happen as a tool so she could end up with everything.
Yeah, I think she wanted to use that power to like rebuild everything, didn't she? So she could be in charge.
Because essentially he's got the power of all the gods.
Yeah. But Kratos basically says that's not going to happen because he's sick of being like doing like the god's duty and stuff like that. And then it makes you think that he's going to kill Athena
and then
But
he
as he,
stabs himself.
but as he swings the blade of Olympus, he basically turns it on himself and freaking kills himself, which unleashes all that power that he'd gotten from Pandora's box and the other gods like into the world basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then that's it, and then Athena just leaves you to die, and then that's it really. And then there's that,
Yeah, there you
that,
go.
that scene after the post credits end where you just see a trail of blood like leading away from like off the edge of it,
Yeah.
like that little walkway, and then
Which,
that's it.
which they didn't really need to do at all.
No.
Yeah, it's a bit pointless, that bit.
Well, we only did it to obviously make you feel like, oh well, Kratos is still alive, so there could be a
Yeah,
possibility in
something's
new
gonna happen.
games.
Yeah.
Which it was, because obviously it was after that he snuck off into fucking Norse mythology world.
Yeah.
Did it ever explain how he got into Norse
Oh,
mythology world
no,
into that game?
that's one thing I was going to say that it really bugs me how it's not explained how he's got to the other mythology.
It might have done, because I can't remember a lot of things from that game, like story wise.
No, that's something to research, I guess, but I've never seen an explanation for it.
No, I'm not either.
Maybe it'll come further in the series in this new
Maybe.
era, but
yeah, that was the story. It was
before we
alright.
carry on, before we carry on, I think I'm going to need to hurry up soon.
Oh, sorry, we'll got a gameplay to talk about now.
Yeah, right. Well,
yeah. What did you think of the gameplay?
um, I've made very little notes, which usually means I was enjoying it. Like I say, it's pretty much like the rest of them, to be honest. Very hack and slash.
It is.
Fixed camera. You obviously you get all your powers stripped early on, and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
gain them back over time, and all the rest of it. I think it's definitely the most fluid.
Yeah, with every boss that you kill, you get like a new ability or a new weapon.
Yeah. There's some questionable bits in there, like there's a bit where you kind of play like a shitty little guitar.
Yeah,
hero
I've got that
style.
written down as well. Guitar Hero part felt out of place.
Yeah, I've just put question marks like Guitar Hero.
I
But
think
yeah,
what weirded it out the most is that you could actually see the buttons themselves in the actual
Yeah.
game. It was weird.
yeah, exactly.
But yeah, that bit felt
really odd.
well out of place. What else? I felt like all the puzzles in the game were proper basic. Did you not think they were too
Yeah.
easy?
Yeah, everything was
The,
really.
the only puzzle I kind of had trouble with was the Garden of Hera bit. You know, we had to use that eye to kind of like
Same,
so it was kind of like
same.
that weird, like create like weird platforms and stuff like that.
Yeah,
That was the only one I had kind of trouble with, but everything else was like dead easy puzzle wise.
yeah. I've got no real problems, to be honest. Like the main stand, I had very little problems with anything. The game is brilliant. It's still an absolute masterpiece.
It is.
As far as I'm concerned, the story's brilliant. The acting's brilliant.
It was a
The
short
combat,
game as well.
Yeah, the combat I still think's I enjoyed it a lot.
What do you prefer, that kind of combat or the one that they introduced in God of War 2018?
Before I'd have played it, I would have said the old, but going back and playing it, I can see why they've changed it. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
It does feel old, like dated, but it's still good to play. It's still enjoyable.
It is, yeah.
But I can definitely see why they've changed it, and I'm glad of it.
Yeah, they definitely changed it for the better. I'm more of a fan of like this kind of gameplay, but at the same time, I do feel like all the changes they made in the 2018 version were for the best, especially just in trying to keep the game fresh. Because as we mentioned, all these previous God of War games are basically the exact same game, really.
Yeah, definitely. If we'd have had another one like this, it wouldn't have been good.
No.
I don't think it would have been very stale.
That was the problem that Ascension had. That it just felt more of what we've seen, 6 times before.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that they went the way that they did with the 2018 version.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't really have, like I say, I've not made that many notes, which just means I was playing it, I was enjoying it. I really don't have much to say apart from if you've seen anything or you've played any of the God of Wars, you know what it's about. All the first lot of games are very, very similar in terms of how they play and whatnot. The real standout in this one is the actual boss battles and the boss fights and the deaths and the scenes and how it was actually choreographed and stuff like that. That's the real standout of the God of War 3.
Yeah, it was just the technology of the console that let him stand out, really.
Yeah.
Whereas 2018, it was the story, the combat, stuff like
Yeah, that's it really.
Yeah, all the weapons you had felt good. Like each one felt pretty different. Like we didn't all just feel like, even though they were all basically like chain weapons, like each one felt differently.
Yeah, that last one felt really overpowered. I can't remember the name of it now.
Oh, the electric one.
The electric
The what
style
was it
one.
called? The
I did write it down.
Nemesis whip, something like
That's
that. Yeah.
no, that was Hades, wasn't it? That was the one that you got from
No,
Hades, I think.
Hades was the claw of Hades. I think it was a
Oh right.
Nemesis whip. Was that one that Hephaestus made for you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I know what you mean.
Right.
Like the green electric one.
Yeah, it felt really overpowered.
The one I used the
Really
most
easy.
was the claw of Hades, just because I liked.
See, that's the one I use the least.
Again, I might be biased because it's a Hades thing, but I just
Yeah,
liked
yeah,
how, when you pressed R1 and circle and you grappled onto them, like you fucking pulled out all these souls and they kind of acted
yeah, yeah,
like a damage over time kind of thing.
yeah.
And it's just being able to summon like different enemies to like help you and stuff like that. I kind of liked it. I think the one I used the least was probably them gauntlets that you got from Hercules.
Yeah, yeah,
When
yeah. Same.
apart from when you had to
To be
use it to
honest.
break that onyx stuff that you had, like
Yeah,
when certain enemies had, that was all I used it for really.
yeah,
What else? I felt like some combos in the game basically worked better than others. Like I feel like each weapon had like a go-to combo that worked the best.
yeah. Definitely. Yeah, like obviously the main blades was just like you square mashing it and then just your directions to go do uppercuts and whatnot.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's the other ones definitely you needed to use different techniques to actually master it,
I
so to speak.
I like using the Claw of Hades the most as well because I like the faster dodging as well.
Yeah,
Because with using your main blades of exile, like the rolling felt dead slow, but with the Claw of Hades, you did like this quick like dash kind of thing.
yeah,
That's why that's why I use that more often, just because I appreciate like the faster dodging. Uh, yeah, that's all I got gameplay wise, because there's not really that much
yeah.
problem wise that we've not
No, that's it.
like.
To be honest, that's all I've got. Full stop.
Yeah, it's just it's short, but I feel that's a good thing because if they added any more than they already did, I feel like it kind of would have gotten
Yeah, it was
boring after
definitely
a
on the
while.
board. It was on the borderline of being, yeah. If it had gone on, it would have gone on too long. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, because as amazing as like like the Kronos boss fight was, if you had like two or three that were like that, after a while it would have gone like, uh,
It would have, yeah,
another boss like this.
it would have lost what the magic was to it,
Yeah, exactly.
so to
Like
speak.
just having that one boss fight with Kronos just being like that. That it's why that boss stands out the most for me, like memorable wise.
Yeah,
It was insane. It was like basically fighting like an entire level like itself as the
yeah.
boss,
Well, yeah, yeah. Essentially, yeah, that's what it is.
because you're pretty much climbing like up his arms and then you're on his shoulder and then like you're inside him and it's crazy.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Like I've not seen anything quite like that, like in terms of that scale, ever since. If I'm being perfectly honest, like scale wise.
No, I can't think of anything that's given me that sense of scale. No.
Mm, I see they really did push the boundaries of like what they could do with a PS3 with that game.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's all I've got. That's all I've got for that now. It's pretty great. It's just shy of being perfect if I'm being honest.
I've always loved this. Well, from when I've played it, this series, like I've absolutely adored it.
Hmm.
Yeah, I've always loved the character of Kratos, even when people didn't like him,
I
when he was just a one-dimensional angry boy.
Yeah, I do definitely I do, I admit I do like him a lot more in the recent game, but as I said
Yeah, I
before,
can
he
get
did have
that.
his
Yeah,
moments in the first lot of games.
but if you've never played them, you need to.
Oh yeah, every single one is great.
Yeah.
I can't speak for the mobile phone one though. It was good enough to win awards and a
Well,
9 out of 10 and stuff, so it
9 out of
must be
10
good.
from IGN, which doesn't speak much to be fair, but yeah, I think that's it really.
Yeah, definitely play
Go
him.
and play them.
I honestly can't think of any other game that comes close to getting that kind of like sense of scale and epicness.
No, obviously there's a lot of other games that have tried to do this hack and slash thing, like Dante's Inferno and
Oh yeah, Devil May Cry,
Devil May, yeah.
Bayonetta, whatever.
But there's just something about God of War that does it extra special.
It's just the cinematicness to everything that it does. Like these like
Yeah,
proper high standards that every
yeah,
game
yeah,
seems to have.
yeah, absolutely.
like every console that they put a God of War game on, they always seem to push it as far as they possibly can.
Yeah,
Like even on the
definitely.
PSP and mobile phone, they managed to do it. So yeah, it really is as high standard as a game series that you can get, and I
Yep.
really am looking forward to seeing what they do with like the future of like this the Norse
Oh
saga as I'm
yeah,
calling it.
yeah. The Norse stuff definitely intrigues me a lot more than the Greek stuff, to be fair.
It
Just
does.
because, just because I feel like there's a lot I don't know as much about Norse,
Same,
and
but for
the
me,
stories that I do know, I find them a lot more interesting as well.
and for me, like the Norse stuff feels a lot less like cartoonish than the Greek mythology
Yeah,
stuff does.
yeah, yeah,
Like, because I feel like that's why they teach Greek mythology a lot more, like in schools and stuff, because it feels a bit kiddie-ish at times.
it's very. I know what you mean. It's very. I can't think of the word. The story's very basic.
Mm,
The actual stories and why people are doing things and who's who and stuff
yeah,
like that.
but
The Norse mythology, the stories, there's a lot more meaning and depth to them.
yeah, there's a lot. Like the gods are like complete assholes, basically. Like
Yeah,
Thor
they're not.
especially.
Basically, they're not just the god of the sun, the god of the land, the god of water, so blah blah blah. They're like there's a lot of variants
Mm,
and reasons to why they are what they are and stuff like that. And yeah,
yeah, there's definitely a lot more depth to the Norse stuff, which I'm very much appreciating.
so yeah, that's that. Basically, go and play it.
Yeah, by all means, play any single one. You'll
Yeah, this is
you'll you won't be disappointed.
and if you've got to the end here, like over 2.5 hours, fucking
Mm,
what?
why?
Why?
You're in lockdown. You have so much. You could do literally anything else.
Yeah. So anyway, that's that. Are we calling it a day?
Uh, yeah, I think I'm happy with this.
Yeah, I'm going having some tea now.
Same, because I'm starving.
Right.
uh,
And on that
oh,
note,
we've not mentioned our Facebook, Twitter shit.
yeah, listen, if
No,
someone has got to
no,
this
yeah,
point, they know what it is.
no one's gonna listen to it at this right at the end anyway.
Yeah, exactly. That don't matter.
uh, yeah, like I say, this is probably being a bit optimistic, but we hope we'll be back to normal next month, but
Yeah, probably not.
probably not. Yeah, that's just being a bit too optimistic. That.
Yeah. But anyway, if not, we'll do this again.
Yep.
We've
Hopefully,
not
be with
decided.
just a single game this time, so it won't be as all
Yeah.
over the place
Oh,
as this one was.
no, this was definitely a wing it and
Yeah,
see. It's been a bit of a mad month as well.
this felt very unorganized. This one, if I'm being honest. Let's never do an entire series again.
No, we're not doing this again.
Whose fucking idea was it?
Yours.
I know it was.
All right. On that note,
On that note,
we'll see you again.
thank you all for listening. Stay safe, stay indoors, wash your hands, etc.
Yep.
So we'll see you all again next month. Bye.
Bye.